Well, hello, everybody. We're not supposed to be here on a Thursday, so that's why we're here. It's always good to be in a place where you're not supposed to be. Most of us are snowed in and not working, so we're going to stream. So hopefully you'll find it somewhat entertaining, especially if you're bored. This might help a little bit. And start us all off, I'll get Eric in a really good mood. I'll show him something from his past.
Ken Anderson. There we go.
Nice.
So he's very hopeful in the next couple of weeks that they'll have a better result than Mr. Anderson did.
Yeah, after they won that game against the Chiefs, I actually teared up. I was like, wow, is this really happening?
I thought they should have won the 88, the Sam White. They had that thing won, and then Montana comes back.
What he did do was he threw a pass right between the 2 and the 4 to Lewis Phillips, who dropped it.
Yeah,
and that's game over. It's basically the same thing. The same thing that happened to number 3 for San Francisco the other day. That would have ended that game, but Phillips went on to have a career in law breaking and died in an altercation with the police.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking if he makes that catch, if he gets that pick, he's probably, never has to buy another drink in Cincinnati, and who knows where he'd be today.
He'd probably in the broadcast booth. That karma's a bad thing.
I tell you, that franchise still hasn't recovered. I mean, this is as close as they've gotten since that drop.
Well, that 88 team, that was a great team. The hurry-up offense was phenomenal. And because of that, everybody now knows Joe Nash from Seattle. He was the guy that was constantly, I'm injured. And he was like a defensive tackle for Seattle. And it was just to slow down Cincinnati. He'd always get a injury timeout on the third down play or something. So now you've got tougher rules. If you get an injury in the last 2 minutes, it's an automatic 10 seconds or a timeout removed or something like that.
Yeah, people also forget that Stanley Wilson, one of their starting running backs, spent the night before getting coked out of his mind, and they found him gibbering in the morning.
I remember hearing that.
Yeah, I think half the team was mad at him. You couldn't just hold out for one more day or two.
A guy for the Raiders did that. I think before the 2002 Super Bowl. I think the center Barrington something. I said that's it's crazy, but knock on wood, nothing like that'll happen this time.
Hopefully.
Well, guys. On the thumbnail, I show us seeing our shadow or make an allusion to that. So I thought I'd show a shadow that not too many people have seen before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a crazy.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Velasco. That's great.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. You just got to see it,
Yeah.
You won't necessarily want them after you have them, but I'll show an ad here in case Gratu's watching. There's a good old tricks ad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a comic book.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty neat, but they go, let's take the idea of the shadow. We've got the rights to it. And let's make it our own guy. And I guess they had plans to, we'll use this guy. And it'll be kind of like Dell Comics using Dracula.
Yeah.
But do you guys have this? Or am I
I've got the first issue.
I do not. That was another good one.
Hey, look at there.
Green's prepared over here.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
I thought I'd show you some shadow today.
His name's even Ken Allard in that, I believe. He even took the name from the pulp and used it in the comic, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's right.
They used Ken Allard.
Right.
And if I remember correctly, after the first couple of issues, they even changed the character just a little bit. And it's like they were still kind of experimenting. I could be wrong. Jerry Smith's here. Basil Orloff's here. Warren Smith. Gray Man, Bub.
Hey, Gray Man.
Hey, Bob. Gray Man.
As Del Dracula. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Del Dracula is a hoot. Not for the serious Dracula fan, but it's a hoot
Right.
just to read. So, well, guys, I've got a few Ringo Kid, but I'll save that for later. I was talking with Shannon earlier, and he had a book that he helped to GoFundMe or get started. He made a nice little contribution to it. So, would you show that to me now? Or?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I actually donated this like back in 2018.
The other guy. There we go.
Yeah, I actually donated this like in 2018, and then it got delayed, and there were production problems, and they were trying to get more stuff in, and then COVID hit a couple years later, and they got delayed even more and even more. So, like 2 weeks ago, I finally got it, and they threw a bunch of extras and stuff in it. But I did. You contribute, certain tier 1 or tier 2 or whatever. And I can't remember which one it was, but I contributed the one where I get the Jim Steranko painted cover. So
cool.
Yeah, this is like they just threw a bunch of like the old defunct World War II superheroes in here, like from Nidor and all those places, Catman and Catgirl and TNT, and a lot of patriotic. And then they came up with like a couple of their own, and they updated a bunch of others that I'd never heard of, and they just kind of threw them all into one graphic novel. Guy did the script. I can't remember his first name, but it's Finn, and he autographed it. But
Cool.
a lot of great art and story in it.
All right.
Got Barry Kitson and Mick Gray, Ron Friends, Joe Rubenstein, Mark Waid had a bunch to do with it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So,
Haven't
Shannon,
read it yet.
was this a complimentary copy because you contributed, or did you still go ahead and have to purchase it?
No, this is what I got. Like I say, you contributed so much, and I think I was maybe $50 or whatever. And then where it was delayed so long, they had a big bunch of extras they sent. There was like a little
Cool.
poster there. You got Liberty Grade source book.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, I think got some Chuck Patton art and Ramos. It looks like those old Marvel and DC Who's Who.
Oh, yeah. The
Kind of-
Atomic Thunderbolt. That's cool.
That's nice.
Yeah, Atomic Thunderbolt #1. Don't even know what company that was.
The Green Turtle, the Hood.
Totally, you remember him? So there's that. Here's one of the newer characters, National Anthem.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, and there's just a bunch of this kind of stuff in here. Here's a Liberty Gate Zero issue. I really like that. It looks like one of those old JLA, JSA team-up covers.
That National Anthem, she should have appeared in that DC comic, Star Spangled.
Right. Yeah. Here's more stuff. Catman and Catgirl.
Hang on, Gratu. I'll get you going.
I'm sure you guys heard of Blue Flame.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Kitten and I guess one of the first Mad Hatters.
Oh, yeah, the good old Mad Hatter. That's such a great cover in that Golden Age book, his first appearance.
Right.
Crazy cover.
Right.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, here's one called the Hero Files.
Well, they sent you a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, you can see
Who's the robot?
that is the original TNT right there, down there on the bottom. I'm not sure who that other guy is. Like I say, I haven't had time to Is that Airboy at the top there?
Yes, that's
Could
there.
be, yeah.
Yep.
Like I say, I haven't really got to read through this. There's a bunch of great stuff, and they
Oh man,
show like what the first appearance was or when it was.
that's neat.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of great stuff in here.
Might be All Star Squadron.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
way it's laid out.
one of it.
That's neat.
Here we have the lost scenes. I guess some stuff that was supposed to
Oh man,
in there. Yeah.
So Shannon, if somebody in our audience wanted to get their hands on these, how would they go about it?
I'm not sure if there's any copies. I don't know if you had to be an original contributor to this or not, but you can go to Kickstarter and just type in the Liberty Brigade.
Okay, Liberty Brigade.
I'm sure you could find that there because I don't know if they made like any extras or it was just like they were made to order, from the donations or what. And it's funny you talk about All Star Squadron.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, they look real good in spite of, I'm not too big a modern fan, but they look really nice.
Yeah. Barry Kitson did some of the art. There's a bunch of people in here. I know there was a page somewhere that George Perez did. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Yeah. There's the Perez page right here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the original TNT.
Huh.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of great stuff in there. I was really pleased. And I might just have to dig into that later. But yeah,
That's pretty cool, man.
that was worth the wait.
So I have to ask, with all those patriotic sounding heroes, this is a story question. Are the villains very ludicrous as far as, down with America or, something real kitschy?
I'm not sure. Like I say, I haven't really got to read through it yet.
Okay.
But there's like a lot of over the top looking characters, anyways. But,
Okay.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But anybody that can get that, I would recommend it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely look into that.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
hello,
cool.
Gratu.
Hey.
What's up, bro?
Well, I thought I could walk down to the convenience store before you guys started, and I kind of busted my ass on my rear end on the way there and on the ice, and then it turned out to be closed. They're always open in any kind of weather, but not today. But I got this popcorn a friend of mine gave me for Christmas, and it's still good, so I'm eating that for breakfast here.
Bronco Bear's with us. It's going on 2 a.m. where he's at. No, 11 o'clock p.m. I don't know if this is a nice convenience for him or what, but he always watches the Wednesday show. And Broncos had a recent outbreak of COVID there in Israel, so he's been loading up on oranges and stuff like that. So, well, Gratu, we were just talking about The Shadow, and then we were talking about Shannon's Kickstarter book that he helped get going.
Yeah, I saw that. That looks amazing.
It does.
Did you see here's the graphic novel brought to? Yeah, it's a Jim Steranko cover.
That's
Yeah.
bigger than a comic. It's
Yeah, it's a hardback. It's like 100
That's
pages.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see that one. This stuff's good.
Yeah.
Did that say volume 1 on that, Shannon, on the spine?
It says issue 1,
Okay.
but I think they're doing like a sequel.
That's cool. That's what I was
Yeah.
saying. 'Cause it's something like that. They're going to come out with something more. That's neat.
Yeah, I think they kind of decided early on they were going to do like a sequel to it, just because everybody enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
all right.
There's a lot of talent on that book, and only a few of them are actually working in the industry right now on a regular basis. Of course, the biggest idiot connected to the book is the one. Go figure.
Well, let me show a little Ringo.
Oh yeah.
Not Ringo Starr, but the
Ringo.
other Ringo. Yeah. You can see I got a little damage here, but at least I didn't pay full price for a number 1.
Yeah.
Too bad I don't have number 2, but I got number 3. Date stamp.
Oh yeah, gotta love the date stamp.
Some of the covers are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I probably got like the first 6 or 7. Is it like Severin on a bunch of those covers?
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Here's number 6.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Al Hoots.
There's number 8.
I was just watching a deposition of Stan Lee, where Kirby's estate was suing, and he was talking. He talked about the Western heroes and how the publisher loved Westerns, and he really loved the word kid, and so he demanded kid be in just about every title.
Yeah.
Number 10.
That's interesting. The Trimpy cover. That's cool.
Yeah, I love Trippy.
Don't know how he's going to get out of that one.
Yeah, really. That was very interesting.
Apparently he did.
There he is. Wow.
I think facially it could have been a little better, but
The kid gods are on his side.
yeah. Probably the best cover, number 16. I really like this cover.
Oh yeah, that's a cool cover.
Oh yeah, it's one of those picture frames I like so much.
Looks like Superman.
Yeah.
It said Dick Ayers. That's awesome. I always love Dick Ayers.
Oh yeah.
I'll just show a couple more. They started to kind of look alike to me. Here's number 27. And you see that pose he's in. Here's
Yeah. Gil Kane, both of them.
Yeah, Gil Kane. Yeah.
Looks like the Shadow. Is that what you're trying to say?
well,
Because you were just talking about the Shadow.
Yeah.
Before I came on.
yeah, pretty much. So I'll stop with that. Well, Gratu, how much snow do you got? Because I got snowed in yesterday. They called off my work. I got paid for it. They've called off today's work, but I don't get paid for today. So I'll have to figure out something for today.
Well, it started sleeting last night about 7. It went below freezing about 10, and it started snowing this morning. I mean, it's not a huge amount, but I mean, you got a coating of ice and then snow on top of that, so it's pretty treacherous. I wouldn't drive in it, and pretty much all the schools are closed, and
Yeah.
so I don't think it'll be drivable till Saturday, maybe Saturday morning.
Yeah, it hit us pretty hard, and it's on its way to our Kentucky friends here. They're going to have to mess with it.
Yeah.
Steve might not. He might survive just fine.
Yeah, I'm okay right now. It's just raining. It's just raining at 31 degrees, so we're pretty good. We're pretty good right now, you know. Yeah.
Never heard of that one, Jerry.
Ew. Ew.
Must be another ground.
Horrible.
Yeah. I heard that book was a load of crap anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
Crappy artwork.
Right.
Eric tells us that Jerry needs a camera. I don't know about that. I don't know. He's going to show stuff like that.
I don't know him.
No?
No.
Okay. I misaligned then.
How's your move going there, Gratu? You taking your stuff down, your pictures?
I've been doing a little of that.
Yeah. I saw in your video you were taking some pictures down to prove you were doing it.
No, I've been doing it for a
I
while.
know.
So will you move to that house you showed us that's about 2 hours away?
We'd like to, and there's other options as well, but just want to get away from a larger place.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and have more. I mean, it's a place that's your neighbors are churches on two sides, literally, and just a wonderful neighborhood. And then there's a downtown that's about a block away, and there's some guy trying to run a video game cool stuff store there. He has literally about a dozen comic books in the store, but he's going to participate in Free Comic Book Day, but he doesn't really know what he's doing, and I could help him, and I could put stuff on consignment there, and then I wouldn't have to do anything, and it would just sell magically, because it's a place that people come to shop for antiques and stuff. It's like this hip little downtown. They even have a South African restaurant or something. I mean, it's interesting. There's no boarded up places. It's just a really nice place to. I just want to get out of this place. But we'll have to see.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that water well.
Oh yeah.
Well, you learn pretty quickly, what happened last February about this time when you get snowed in and the power goes off, and then when it comes back on, they say, well, you can't drink the water. It's like, well, I'm not a well.
I forget that. I never had that experience before. I would hate it. If I had to boil water or whatever. So far, it's never happened.
Yeah, well, Texas was being punished for how we voted.
Did you find Timmy down there?
Timmy.
I mean, it sounds crazy, but there are ways they can manipulate weather.
I was afraid you were going to drop your phone down that thing.
Well, that would have been probably one of the best things that ever happened to me.
We never would have saw it. So,
yeah, I don't know. So, what you have to have the water tested, or is it just an assumption that water coming from a well is good water?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody knows because we were born 100 or so years too late, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I just assume well water was always good, but I'm sure there's ways for people to contaminate it.
Yeah. Huh.
I need to move near Eric's comic book store.
Well, we ought to, seriously, I've heard more than one person say this, we ought to pick a town, and all of us, when we retire, if we haven't already retired, move there and take over the town. I mean,
forcibly, yeah.
I mean, there's the place. I mean, you can rent a store for $1,000 there in the main downtown, and then several of us could split it. We could open our own comic store, and not have to deal with the idiots that run the stores we shop at.
So I have no complaints with the people that I work for, but the customer base is definitely, it's changing. It's just, it's a different world.
I'm not really talking about the people that run them. I just, the whims of what they order, and people are always showing stuff on here that is not carried in any of the local stores. I think a new issue of Shudder just came out that wasn't ordered, and then some things that are cool disappear before the store even opens. The store's even open because people that I guess pre-ordered them, and then they're sold out before the store opens.
Do you need any of the issues, Gratu?
Of what?
Of Shudder?
I don't think I have any of them. I was starting to get Vampirus Carmilla, but I don't even have any of the creeps. I mean, if you go to Barnes & Noble, they have about 6 back issues of Shudder and Vampire. They carry that, and no one ever buys it.
Just send me your You know that DM thingy on your Twitter thingy that you never respond to thingy? Just
On
send me your
Twitter?
address. I'll send you. I've got an extra number too. I'll send it to you.
I never go on Twitter except when something pops up and it says Twitter and it's someone interesting. I mean, I'll go on there and check to see if this crazy UFO guy named David Wilcock, I keep checking him to see if he's going to do a live broadcast on YouTube or something.
I said you can just use it for the DM feature. I said if you want it, you just send me the address and I'll send it to you.
I just heard Facebook, the idiot that runs Facebook, lost 27 billion today. I thought that
no.
Well, you saw what he did. He deleted the page of the U.S. trucker convoy.
The what?
There's a U.S. trucker convoy forming.
Oh, yeah.
And he deleted their page.
Yeah.
What a complete. Well, I don't want to get this shut down. So,
well, things are going well. I would never would have believed Canada would do something like that. So, and then the head of CNN's fired or has to leave.
Yeah, I think we're going to find out there's a little more to that than a consensual affair.
Oh, lots more.
But
that's a cover story.
The best thing I heard about CNN was someone tweeted, Jeffrey Toobin is the only guy at CNN that keeps his hands to himself.
It's like Ghislaine Maxwell. There were 4 girls. That's what it's about. No, how about it's about almost every country that exists. Many of their leaders were bribed by her and her spy boyfriend, and then her father was doing it, before her. They're just generational James Bond spy kind of. They blackmail people that control what happens in our daily lives. They're all, but mainly what that idiot, what's his face that runs Facebook wants
Zuckerberg.
to do is get everyone. He's already changed the name of Facebook to Meta. He wants all these kids to basically turn into the Matrix and put on these goggles and live in this virtual reality world, so that everything can come true in the next 10 years, where they can have you live in a closet and you think you're just in this paradise, so you can have nothing but be happy, like Klaus Schwab, Ernst Stavro Blofeld's clone.
Creepiest commercial I think I've ever seen. The kids in that commercial just absolutely looked like something out of an old sci-fi movie where the populace has been, mind melded into.
But people are waking up.
Children.
We thought they were science fiction movies, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We thought it was James Bond was this fantastical, and Nick Fury. And it turns out there really are Blofelds. There really are. And some of these people, like you look at Zuckerberg in his eyes, it'll sound funny. It's either demons or aliens infesting that guy. And everything you watch is about that,
By the way, I will admit to knowing Jerry again, because I agree with him. Because since I'm lazy, why don't you guys all come to Kentucky?
What are you saying, Jerry? What are you talking about?
In the chat. When he made the joke, I said I didn't know him. But I said he's actually one of my best friends. And
I'm sorry, I don't look at the chat. I need to do that.
Hey, speaking of
close to where you're at, right, Eric?
What's that?
Said Erlanger's kind of close to where you're at, right?
Oh yes, that's I was gonna say it was 5 minutes away, but today it's about 3 hours.
Right. Yeah.
So you probably get there by covered wagon faster than driving right now.
Speaking of body snatchers, I absolutely love that old movie. I've never seen the Leonard Nimoy version.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Is it as good as the first, or
That's the best one.
it really is better? Okay, I'll have to break down and look at it.
Donald Sutherland's in that one too, isn't
Right.
he?
Sutherland,
Yeah. It's much more creepier.
Goldblum. Yeah, Goldblum's in it too. I forgot about that. Jeff Goldblum.
There's
Yeah.
something about black and white sci-fi that just really sucks me in. I enjoy it. So I don't know. I guess I'm old school, but if you recommend the Leonard Nimoy, then I'll
Oh yeah.
check it out.
I guess one way to look at it is, I know a lot of people that think that the John Carpenter Thing is the greatest movie ever made, and it probably is better than the 1951, but I look at without that one, there is no this
Right.
one.
Yeah.
So I mean, I could see where the 78 one. So I don't think I've ever seen that, or if I did, it was when it first aired
Mhm.
on television, or if it ever did, I don't remember. But I said it's just I'm kind of partial to the old black and whites myself, but
Yeah, what's cool about the original had Kevin McCarthy in it. He kind of shows up in the second one for a couple of
He
minutes.
does. He makes a cameo.
They kind of like bridge. It's kind of like a connection between the first and the second movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kevin
The
McCarthy
best thing about the
was
78 one is a scene with a dog, and I won't say anything else since you haven't seen it.
Kevin McCarthy was the guest at a convention that Jerry and I went to one year, and I think he had died the year prior, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't recall him moving at any point when we were there.
He was still body snatched.
That would be a funny idea for a movie or a skit where people running a con can't get any guests, so they just start digging up people and puppeteering them.
Yeah, animating the bodies. Yeah,
Wait a minute, we know a puppeteer. We could get him to do
that's
that.
right. That's right.
Get them all to go, hello, everybody.
Yeah, next week we're gonna have Jack Kirby and Stan Lee reunited, and we're gonna talk to Steve Ditko.
Yeah.
Actually, that friend of mine that had all the pulps. I don't know if you saw that episode.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking he looks a little like Steve Ditko. I ought to have him on and just interview him, as he knows nothing about Spider-Man, but just pretend he probably could fake it with talk about Ayn Rand or something.
Yeah, you could probably get Stan Lee to reanimate pretty quickly. Jack would probably grudgingly do it, and Steve wouldn't come out of his grave.
No. He refused.
You just dig up the casket, and there'll be a little poster on it that says, "I don't want to talk about that."
Yeah.
It'll just say the casket will say regards, Steve Ditko.
Yeah.
Right.
Regards, Steve Ditko. Yeah.
Yeah. My work is me.
Yeah. There you go.
If I do get that house, the house next door to it's for sale, so one of you ought to move there. Seriously.
How old is that house? The one you were looking at?
Like 1911.
Oh, guess what? You did say that. You did.
Someone bought it in 1913 and
Yeah.
refurbished it a lot.
Mhm.
And then there's stuff that's been done to that house over the years.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, she was beautiful in that, wasn't she, Carolyn?
Mhm.
Yeah. What I won't accept is The Day the Earth Stood Still being remade. I won't even watch that movie.
No, I don't agree with that either.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Just can't see Keanu Reeves as Klaatu.
Uh-huh.
No. Michael Rennie was perfect for that. I think Michael Rennie would have been a good shadow if they did it very pulpish feel to it. Michael Rennie would have been good at that.
Yeah, I agree.
Did you guys ever see the Third Man series that Michael Rennie was in?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I can't remember if he played Harry Lime or Joseph Cotton's character, but there was a series for a few years, and he was in it.
Oh, that's cool.
The last time I saw him, and that's probably ahead of the tail end of his career, I believe he was one of the aliens in an episode of The Invaders.
So, speaking of the shadow, everyone's going ape about the Moon Knight trailer. So, Eric, you know more about. I mean, I know the early Moon Knight, and it was the Shadow meets Batman, and at some point he's turned into this crazy schizophrenic lunatic. And when exactly did that happen? What decade?
It must have happened in the 2010s because I don't remember him being this, far away from the. He's like page 7 of an old search engine at this point. There is no resemblance to the original character.
Right.
But I will say, I bought a bunch of books off a guy a couple weeks ago, and they were crushed. I mean, they were like Classics Illustrated falling apart in my hands and whatnot, and books stuck together. Blah blah blah. I offered him 50. He asked for 75. I said I'll give you 60, which I don't like to do because I like to at least give the illusion that my first offer is my best. Well, he also had records, so he calls my brother to sell those and tells him, he goes, I think I got ripped off by that other guy. And he was bitching the whole time he was at the store. But there is a point to this story. There was a Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu #2 in there. I didn't even notice it when I bought it. It's so insignificant. But there is a character in that book that makes his first appearance that was in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So it went from $1 bin to $75 overnight.
That's the one that has like the corpse coming out of a crypt on the cover.
I looked through the book and I still didn't know who it was, but it was one of the books that was in perfect condition. So I guess I did. Oops.
I think that's speculation because people aren't quite sure.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
It looks like a cult leader that's got people bowing down to him, and they're assuming that it's a character from that comic.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Like when the Thor series came out, just a random issue in the Simonson run that he wasn't even on the art anymore. I think it was 372, one of the time brokers or whatever. That shot through the roof. It's like
because of that Loki. I never even finished watching Loki. I haven't really watched the second episode yet. I assume it gets better.
I didn't watch it yet. I mean, I'm sure I will eventually. But
so, is anybody here in our little group of 5 that are Moon Knight fans?
I was until recently.
I know what he is now.
Yeah, I don't get it. I've read what Eric was talking about, how they just turned him into a psychopath.
Yeah,
it took the easiest way out because the original Moon Knight, they had 4 distinct personalities you're dealing with, and they wrote around those personalities and they intertwined to a great story. And now let's get rid of these personalities and make him a psychopath. You're taking the easy way out, and I don't like it at all.
I come from I liked the Avengers West Coast better than I liked the Avengers when they were really, the first 30 issues and that 4-part miniseries that started it. I really liked the Hawkeye, Mockingbird, all that stuff. And for a while there, they were flirting with letting Moon Knight join.
Mm-hmm.
And I really got into the character, and I liked the character. I think it was a little too much talking to the Egyptian, stuff. But I really was digging it, and of course I should have saw it coming. Marvel's not going to let Moon Knight stay in the Avenger, of course not. They're going to yank him out of there. But that was when I really liked Moon Knight. I don't know if anyone else agreed, but
I liked all creations of that character up until what Eric talked about in the 2010s, where they just did what they wanted to do with it and made him a psychopath.
They brought him into the West Coast Avengers for a minute, which wasn't bad because it was, but it was not long after the Doug Mensch run, which was phenomenal. But the problem is, you get a character, if it lasts long enough, they're going to just do things to it that we don't like. I mean, it's like it's at some point, I guess I had to reconcile that my versions of these characters are back there, pretty much across the board at this point, and that's fine. I mean, I said it's saves me money every Wednesday.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, he was such a great. I've got mine bound. I got the first 15 issues bound over here of Moon Knight. I like the series that much, and I plan to get the rest of them bound. But
can I see it?
Oh yeah.
Steve knows behind me. I bind a lot of books.
See, my memory may be wrong, but I thought it wasn't multiple personalities, but he just played different characters like the Shadow.
No, yeah, he definitely had the personalities. Doug Mitch said that Mark Spector is Moon Knight. That's the real identity for Moon Knight. But the millionaire, the mercenary, the Moon Knight character, they're all different except for Mark Spector is the Moon Knight.
Yeah.
So what numbers are these?
This is, I didn't put numbers on this one. This is one of my first things I got bound. This is issue 1 till
It's the 1980s.
Yeah. 20.
Okay.
How
Yeah.
do they get the books to line up so perfectly? Do they
They
trim
cut
them?
them. Yeah, they cut them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's all in there. It's all intact. It's just they're bound up.
None of mine are trimmed because that's a little extra money. So,
Yeah. This was $20 to get this bound. The company I'm dealing with now is a little bit, it's $25, but they give you a bookmark. And
okay.
the end papers are a little bit better. The end papers are a little bit better. The cooler one I got is my Valiant Chaos Effect. And in this one, I got the whole, but I got artists and stuff to do, sign it and do pictures and stuff in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Sorry, Steve.
That's okay.
Show it again. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh,
Bob
yeah, yeah.
Hall, Jim Calafiore, Bob Layton,
Oh,
Sean
Sean
Shannon.
Penn.
Yeah. Bernard Chang. And there are some stuff that's signed in the volume too. But yeah, it's pretty neat. I like having these bound up.
I don't think I ever tried that comic.
So here's the Fantastic Four,
Oh,
issue 187 to 202. That's how I would label them. So my you have the end papers, but then I would create a little index that tells you what
that's
number
cool.
as well.
That's
And
neat.
so there you go. So
That's awesome.
and you can see the pages here. They're not trimmed,
Okay.
but I don't want to lose anything
Yeah.
because you figure you're already losing just a little smidge of the
Mhm.
on the inside.
In the
But,
gutter, yeah.
so after you see behind me, after the first 100 that Marvel Masterworks did, and then I take up and I go all the way to 416 where they left off. So
Well done. Well done.
Wow.
Well done.
with annuals, every now and then there'd be a little. The Avengers would be doing something that would kind of cross reference, and I'd take a couple of pages from it. And I'd squirt those in there as well, but not to the level that what is it? Epic does a really good job. So, and I highly recommend Epic. So,
Yeah, if only Marvel could do as well with their modern output.
Yeah, here's the new company I'm dealing with, and I actually started putting the numbers. Sandman Mystery Theater, this is 1 to 20 and annual 1.
excellent.
And I got Matt Wagner, he drew the Sandman in there real quick for me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but this one, they extend the pages out so you don't lose nothing in the gutter.
Excellent.
Yeah, they put fabric in there where you don't lose anything in the gutters. So it's pretty much,
Well, that's nice.
yeah, it's a cool vibe. I'm lazy. I need to get the rest of them bound. I've got them all segregated to bind them up, but I need to get them. I need to
I'll
get
tell you
them
one you showed a while back was where you had the 90s Starman bound.
Oh yeah, I got that.
That's one of my favorite. There wasn't a whole lot of highlights in the 90s, but that was like one of my absolute favorites. I think I got like all the floppies, maybe except for 4 or 5, but I'd like to just have all those and just read them all through.
Yeah, I got 0 to 19 on the Starman you mentioned, Shannon,
Right.
and I got Tony Harris
Oh, that's
who
great.
signed it, and I got Tony Harris back in '94 who signed the 0 issue. But again, we're back to we're not losing nothing in the gutters.
Yeah.
It's pretty much extended out a little bit.
Cool.
But yeah, this is 0 to 19. I try to do 20 to 25 issues, depending if there's annuals or not.
So what that went like 80 issues?
Yeah, something like this, like late 70s, early 80s type. Yes, it wasn't very much, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Every now and then, I would take out a couple of extra ad pages that I've already got. Like you always see in the first couple of issues. I don't need to keep seeing the same Charles Atlas ad, for example,
Right,
all the
right.
way through. And if you take out enough of those, you could squeeze in a issue 20 or 21 sometimes. The most would be about 25 issues, and that's if you're really pulling a lot of the ads. But you saw some ads in there. I leave a lot of ads in.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's like it's just such a great thing to pull off the shelf and be able to read it.
But sometimes I take the back cover off, like it's got that saying, "These kids are selling seeds." I've seen a million times. I didn't need it.
Yeah.
But and had their mind, and I wanted to make sure everybody realized the first 100. I didn't do that. I've got those, except for number 48 and the first 5.
Of course, right.
I've got those off to the side, but I didn't bind those. I do know not to make every comic collector mad at me. So if you're binding, the first 100 Fantastic Four, you're going to make somebody mad. So I don't have to do that because I got them in Masterworks. So
yeah, I mean Roy Thomas. I mean he bound everything. Golden Age,
sure,
Silver Age. I mean he's got everything Marvel's almost ever done. He's got bound up. So it's one of those things that people enjoy doing. It's funny. I got Vigilante, the first 20 issues bound, 25 issues of Vigilante. I got bound years ago. Moon Knight, everything everyone was talking about now. I've got them bound up. So it's one of those things.
So is that Starman the same one from Justice Society?
It's his grandson. It's his son.
Okay.
His son David was killed, and then Jack takes over the mantle, but he doesn't want to. But he gets the rod, extends the rod to the longer gravity rod and everything else.
And then
that's the one that Stargirl ended up with, right?
Sorry?
Yeah.
So how does that tie in with Stargirl?
What's that,
Yeah.
Shannon?
It was like issue 10 or 11, like when they had the flashback with the JSA and they were fighting Ragdoll.
Yeah.
A friend of mine I used to work with, he's got like the double page original art spread.
Ooh, that's
I
nice.
can't remember the artist. It wasn't Tony Harris, but it was a different guy.
Wade Von Grangberger.
Yeah, Growl Badger did the inks, but somebody else did the pencils that issue.
Okay.
He's got like a double page spread piece of art.
That's awesome.
Man, it's one of those things. I had serious comic book envy over that.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, Ken, they have the same villains. The Mist is in it. They brought back the Starman from the 70s, the purple guy from Saturn. Not Saturn. Who was he from? Mikkel. From the blue one, or is he red?
Maybe it's blue, but I can't remember where it's from.
Blue.
I can't remember what planet it was from. It's funny. I was just looking at that issue the other day
and they found him in a circus. But the Mist is around, and the Mist, what they do, they get together every Christmas and have like a neutral Christmas dinner, and like the Mist will bring him a gift or something. But they'll have an annual issue where he talks to David, his dead brother, about being Starman. It's such a great series. If you see it,
have like all the dead JSAers.
Yes,
Black Fury and all those others. Yeah.
Because see, Starman, David, the original Starman, he's an antique deal. He loves the past, so he dresses in a certain way. He likes old radio. He likes old movies, old TV. There's a lot of references to all of that throughout the whole run. So I'd be right up your alley, Ken.
Yeah.
You remember these reprints of Silver Age classics?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I thought I'll just bind those, and
well done. That's all.
Every now and then you have like a good, very good, just a odd Silver Age book.
Yes.
And I called it Silver Age Oddities. And I experimented with the colors, so I try to get different colors each time I do a book because I'd like a kind of a visual guide. Well, let's see, that didn't work too good. The red doesn't show up too good on the blue. So I'll try white or yellow. So I do stuff like that. But,
That's cool.
I just slap stuff together sometimes, and
Yeah.
then I've got it here where I can get my hands on it. So
Yes.
instead of way out there.
That's very cool. Yeah, I try to do my colors to the character. Like I got the green for Starman's for his mist gun, his
Yeah.
gas gun, and Chaos Effect is red because of the Valiant logo. That's how I try and do it.
I'd like to do the Hulk. Of course, I've already got a bunch of the early Hulks, in Masterwork. I like to pick it up from 120 to about 400, minus 181 and one, of course. But I just put the reprints in instead. But I don't know. I don't have any green books.
Right.
That I remember. So I'll have to check. I think green and gold letters would probably look good on the green. So.
Yeah, this company that I deal with, they actually deal with comic books. They got a whole section on the website. They've got die-cut casts with the DC logo, Marvel's logo from any era. If you want a gold stamp or hot stamp, any type of logo, they have it. They'll do color covers. They'll do all sorts of crazy stuff, and it's very inexpensive to get something done. There you go. That's awesome.
This company had the EC, and so all these reprints, I just bind the reprints, and so that way I don't have the originals to hurt, but they've got EC, they've got the DC, they've got Marvel, but it's the Marvel from the 80s, and I can't really find a good Marvel. But if you want to spend money, you can provide them with an image, and they'll make it into a thing. I've been tempted to do that with Gold Key because they don't have Gold Key.
Right.
A lot of stuff I do is
like
Gold
that.
Key.
Yeah. It's the
But
same.
they got DC and EC. So.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'd like to get one of my Commandy runs bound like that.
Oh yeah, you'd like that, Shannon. You can use it anytime. That'd be cool.
That you might get lucky and squeeze it into 2 volumes. Well,
59 issues. So
maybe 3 books.
Might spread that over 3. I don't know.
Yeah, figure 20 issues a piece. Because some of them are the 52 pages, right? Some of them.
Just one.
Yeah, like 32.
Number 32, and I think the last issue was part of the so-called DC explosion. I think they amped it up to about 44 pages.
And then, Shannon, you got a big decision because 32 also reprints, I think, part of number 1.
Number 1, yeah.
And so you're like, well, do I want that in there redundant? Or I would probably leave it in. But
I would.
Yeah. But so you can go different ways, make it your own little deal.
Yeah, I think about getting things bound, man. I mean, it's your book, and you can do it any way you want, and it's just great. Yeah, I got some Hulk bound. Iron Man would be awesome. You're right. Gold lettering on a burgundy book. Very cool. I've yet to take the plunge on getting my beloved Iron Man's bound. It's hard to do it. It's hard. Taking the first 20 issues, just saying bound. Oh, it'd be rough.
Yeah,
that would be rough.
Yeah, that might.
It'd be great to see, but it would. I don't know if I can do that. My Tales of Suspense 39. That'd be off limits. That's not doing that.
That's the great thing about Epics because they've already done the Tales of Suspense and stuff like that. Masterworks has done it.
Yeah.
And so I usually like to try to pick up where they leave off.
Right. Oh yeah, it makes sense. Why redo something you already have and keep the original books.
And let's face it, a lot of the times their reprinting does a very good job. Probably better than the old 50, 60-year-old pages you're looking at.
Yeah, but it doesn't have that smell.
Right.
Doesn't have the smell.
Sometimes they change the coloring.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. That's something too that the garish coloring sometimes doesn't say it's offensive in a way to your eyes, but when you that glossy bright page versus what you're used to reading on newsprint, then you turn around and open up the masterwork, you're like, whoa, I gotta get adjusted to what I'm seeing here. I mean, I think this is to me.
Yeah. Yeah, then you get into that stuff in the late 70s when World Color was doing all that, and they went to the plastic plates to print on, and it was god awful.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The 1980s, you saw the little dots, and it just everything was too yellow. I thought some of the cheap 1980s.
Yeah.
Well, you guys got anything to show? I might show some Kid Colt.
Oh, let's see some Kid Colt. I got some stuff to show. We can see some Kid Colt. I need that one. That's an awesome one.
Oh, yeah.
I paid for this from Grot 2. This little place down in Texas had that one, as well as this one.
Oh, yeah.
The Fat Man.
Oh, man.
Look at the size of those hands. My goodness.
I can little boomeranger hands like that.
I always like the crossover. I love Two Gun Kid.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something so simple about these just whole.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody has their own little flavor. Marvel, DC Westerns are unique. Charlton Westerns.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Dell.
Yeah.
Bullwhip.
McClinch Rocks. Starring John Payne.
Fred Flintstone.
That's cool.
Yeah, that kind of looks like Trippy there.
This is obviously a reprint. Using an older cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such detail on those covers, man. Gun holster, the guns, just awesome.
Now you're going to get into the 70s.
Picture frame.
There you go.
Very cool. Wow, boots.
Reprint. The Ghost. Midnight Mountain. He's about ready to fall off that web.
Yeah, man.
Good old Jack Kirby. With Drago Dalton, Cole Younger.
Larry Lieber.
Great cover.
Eric will probably like this one. I think
Got that fantastic art.
I knew Gil Kane would get them. And here's a nice reprint if you can't get the original.
I didn't know they reprinted it. That's awesome.
They didn't either.
But you know you need to get both. If you got one, you gotta
yeah.
You gotta have them both.
You know, if he'd had that gun on him, he probably could have defeated Wong Chu a lot easier in Tales of Suspense 39.
Now we're being invaded by the barcode. Let's two of those. And one more.
A lot of detail. A lot of detail.
All right. I knew that makes Steve happy. He's a good Western fan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good stuff.
Did you guys like the Westerns when you were kids, or did you grow to like them?
Oh, I loved them.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, I've always loved. I grew to like Gene Autry. I didn't like it when I was a kid. I was much older when I started liking Gene Autry, but westerns I've always liked because my grandparents would always have them on or talk about the cereal and that.
Right.
So
I
it
don't mean
transcended into my comic reading.
I don't mean the movies. I mean the comics as a
Yeah,
kid.
I always liked it when I was a kid.
Okay.
I wasn't until I got older.
Yeah, me too. I just glossed right past them.
Hello, Froggy.
Romance comics or something.
Yeah, I didn't do romance comic books. I still don't all that often. Other than if they're Charlton, I'll get them, but I'm not. I won't buy them on purpose. But I got some. If I find them, Eric, I'll send them your way. I know you're a big um, romance guy. I got some DC. I'll send your way.
Oh,
Once I gather them up, I gotta dig into my collection. But I'll find some and send them your way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I showed some Charlton romance last video I did. Did you see that, Steve?
No, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. You're on my queue though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't Shannon, wasn't one of yours well, the poster for the book was the manager of Partridge Family.
Yeah, there was
Oh, not a Reuben Kincaid.
Yeah, Reuben.
reposter.
It's like they'd gone through the whole cast. They said, well, who do we show next week? All right, we'll show this guy.
Reuben Kincaid.
Right, Reuben Kincaid, Dave Madden.
You could hear the squealing teenage girls from
Yeah.
outside the shop.
Yeah,
Yeah, here we go.
we can't keep it on the shelves.
Here you get one of Bobby Sherman in this one.
Oh, that's such a great cover.
Yeah.
But would you dare show us the Kincaid poster?
Oh God.
'Cause
Apologies.
one of those,
Screaming fans want to know.
I have
Of course, I haven't read these yet, so they might have taken it out. So we'll look.
I have the Charlton Teenage Love Diary or something, and they had a Danny Benefetch, whatever his name is.
Bonaducci.
Yes, thank you. They had his poster in there, and it was the most ugliest line drawn. It wasn't a photo.
Yeah, I don't think these are photos. They're just
No.
art.
That's kind of what I'm asking to see because I bet it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that.
The eyes don't even match.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's a lot of beefcake there for
Although,
His real name.
although you can tell that's supposed to be him, but boy, yeah, that's quite a stretch.
That's
Wow.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think got one with Susan Day in it too. Oh.
That you can understand.
Yeah, I mean, what young teenage boy wasn't in love with her?
Yeah.
Susan Day and Maureen McCormick.
Yep. Yeah. There you go.
Oh wow. Love the pants. That's awesome.
Grief.
Look at
Good grief.
that.
Oh,
Like a precursor to cargo pants.
oh my goodness.
Oh, it's hysterical.
Oh well.
That's awesome.
And poor Eric is being grilled in the chat.
I know. What's up with that?
It's mostly Froggy. So
But yeah, but I'm still waiting for my cookies. Though. This is
So
now I gotta
are they-
wait out a snowstorm.
Are Puppetine and Froggy doing reviews of Peacemaker?
no, they did a Star Wars Boba Fett something last night.
I was hoping. I can't even. I can't even listen to that. I mean, not I've listened to them, but
Right.
to me, Star Wars died so many decades ago,
Mhm.
and
But they got a guy there. Zach is on their show, and he loves, I think, almost everything Star Wars does, unless I'm misreading him.
Well,
Oh, Friday night. There you go.
Okay.
Ratu.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how they're, how they feel about it. And,
Guys, I just found something that makes me really sad.
oh, they did the first 5 episodes. Oh, okay. So they're doing the 6th one on Friday. Okay.
We got Shannon.
Well, with that Liberty Brigade stuff, I had like all the extras in a comic bag. That's the way they came shipped. And Nucadia Comics is the one that distributed that. Well, something just fell out of that bag, and
Hey.
it expired. It expired December 31st,
Oh man.
and I didn't get those until like a couple of weeks ago. So,
That's messed up.
oh god.
Well, let me ask you a question, Shannon. Do you ever find anything at Nucadia in the back issues to buy?
Very seldom that I want to pay the money for. Because you've been on there, right? I mean, everybody's been on there, and it's just it's almost like going to Mile High. There's very few books have I bought from there.
Well, the difference is you can find the books at Mile High; they're just too expensive. In Nucadia, you can't find the books. Period.
Right. Yeah, it's funny because talking about Mile High, I just watched one of Rosansky's videos. And I don't know how recent it was, but he was kind of doing like an updated warehouse tour thing, and was going on about I want all the books, why I overprice everything so people will not buy it. Because he just wants to hoard everything. That's his whole goal, is to have like every comic book related thing ever made, just so he can have it, and he doesn't want to sell it.
Right.
He
He wants a
was
museum.
on there advocating that he's a drag queen now, and his name is Betty Pages. So he actually goes out as a drag queen, and I'm like,
well, he has drag queen shows at his store, and then he descends like Gene Simmons at a Kiss concert on wires down, like he's the fairy, like what do you call it? The out of Wizard of Oz, the
witch,
the Glinda the Good Witch, coming down.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, but I watched that video and I just totally got turned off by the whole thing. I was, everybody's got their own deal, but the thing, drag queen, okay, whatever. I really didn't care about that, but when he was like talking about, okay, I want all these books, I don't want to sell them. Once in a while we have to sell a few, or something like that. And I was just like,
wow.
And actually, I met him, several years ago at a con. Seemed like a decent enough guy, but all that, like, okay, I'm going to overprice these books just so nobody else will buy them.
I remember watching a tour of his store, and I was trying to see the prices, and there was a display case, and the comic that turned me on to superheroes, which was the Treasury edition, the second one with the Fantastic Four, was in this display case, I think marked at $250. And I was thinking, isn't that like a $40 book?
Yeah. Just reprint.
And maybe it's more now. I don't know, but I just thought that's crazy. So
that was great when he was advertising in comics, and he had like the 50-cent and the dollar pages. I mean, I racked up on those, but after you got all these warehouses and most of the 10 million comics, whatever it is he owns,
Yeah.
he just didn't need to. I don't know. He doesn't get it, or I don't get it. I don't know.
It's in pretty rough shape, but I have the first edition.
I don't recognize any of the faces.
Yeah.
There's a homeless gentleman that comes in rather frequently that repainted that cover a giant size on canvas, but it's a little wonky. But if you want some genuine outsider art, that particular All-Star Comics cover, you could probably get it for a couple $100 from this homeless gentleman. If he's alive after this cold blast.
I got a few of those, Micah.
All right. Oh, that's a nice one.
I always like the cover on this. This got some classic reprints in it.
There we go. Catching that bullet.
Yep. And Mr. Jackson Bostwick. Met him at a con several years ago. Really, really nice guy. Probably that.
Be a nice costume to have.
Yeah.
Shazam. I think Elvis was a Captain Marvel Jr. fan, and so that's why he wore that little white cape.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, who else was a huge Captain Marvel fan was Jack Carson. And he made a movie where that was central to the plot.
Never saw it.
I wish I could remember the name of it, but I can't remember what the plot of the movie was, but I know that they showed several comics, if I'm not mistaken, and
This is an Elvis movie.
Jack Carson.
Jack Carson. Okay.
Damn.
Johnny's kid brother.
Johnny would have been his kid brother if I'm
Yeah, Graphic Man, you were showing that book on the Invasion of Body Snatchers, Carolyn Jones. I remember she was in one of my favorite Elvis movies, King Creole.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked really good in that movie.
Did you see the issue? Do you guys ever remember a show called Burke's Law?
Yes.
And the Flintstones made fun of that. They had a little character on there. Go ahead.
There was an episode where she played like 4 sisters.
That Shannon's drug pusher. Trying to get a hold of him. I don't even know the terminology. I said drug pusher. See, that tells you I'm so out of everything.
So Eric, related to the Peacemaker show, people are speculating on, I think, Suicide Squad issue number 4 because of the father of Peacemaker in the show. Have you seen the show at all?
I haven't.
Can I talk about the show, or are you guys gonna watch it?
Oh,
No.
I'll never see it, but go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, Peacemaker's father, they've changed almost everything from both the Charlton and the DC runs. I think in the DC run, his father was a Nazi camp commandant or something, and committed suicide. Well, his father here is this racist guy. Then they show him watching Alex Jones, or the close facsimile of it, like they did the same thing with Alex Jones and Spider-Man. They made J. Jonah Jameson Alex Jones because Hollywood is a big hatred for him. Yeah. Anyway, so he's just this sadistic, horrible father, but he's provides Peacemaker with all his equipment. He goes to the closet in this little 50s house he has, opens up, and it's as far as you can see his futuristic equipment, and he's got all these helmets.
Yeah, he's got like 50
his suit,
Peacemaker helmets. Yeah.
Because his father was also the super villain, the White Dragon. It's got these horns, and it's like an Iron Man suit, but it's like a Ku Klux Klan Iron Man. And so anyway, as the show progresses, and in the next episode, he's going to go after his son because he's blaming him for getting him framed in prison. And so you see in the preview of the next show, him flying around and blasting. And I don't remember this character, but apparently Suicide Squad number 4 has the first appearance of some William Tell type guy, but he's William Hell. He's some racist guy that later becomes the White Dragon in the DC comics. So people are excited about that. And I couldn't figure out who this decrepit old man was. And it turns out he's the guy that was the liquid Terminator from
Yeah,
Terminator
Robert
2. And I didn't recognize him at all, but there was something familiar about him. Boy,
Joe
he's
Morton?
not that old even.
Yeah.
And I remember that guy was he had some rock and roll connections. I think his brother plays in some big band, but he was a pretty young guy in the 1990s, and now he looks like he's 80.
Yeah.
So anyway, so
Yeah.
when did that character, the White Dragon, first appear in the comics in that death-looking head suit with the horns? Do you know?
No idea.
Okay, you seem to have an unbelievable knowledge of minutia, so I just know.
Steve, do you have that 80s or series of Peacemaker?
Yeah,
Yeah. Was that character in there? Or do you know?
I don't remember him.
Yeah.
The character there was a former Nazi that killed himself when he was a kid,
Okay.
and so they've remained true that he's a horrible father, but it's a different character, and that character that's William Hell in the Suicide Squad comic has a different name and everything. So anyway, people are speculating. It looks like it's going to be a pretty cool super villain in the next episode. But
Yeah,
Wikipedia says Iron Man 39.
what's that?
Wikipedia said Iron Man 39 was where the that dragon appeared.
Iron Man 30. This is a DC character, though.
There must be more than one white dragon.
Yeah, unless I've got the name wrong. I think
you're right. It was the White Dragon. Yeah, I've been watching it. That show is completely over the top.
It's nuts. It's insane.
I haven't read that much Peacemaker, but I was like, okay, I don't think this is probably the way they intended.
It isn't, but it's still wonderful. You just have to get past that and just look at it for what it is. And
he just seems so goofy, John Cena. Like I've seen clips online. It just seems like he's a goofball. It doesn't seem serious.
Yeah, he is, but then there are serious moments. It's not James Gunn can reel it back in. And but where they really mess with the character is the vigilante.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Yeah,
but he's wonderful too. I mean, he looks just like he did in the comic. It's the same name, but it's a different character. I mean, he's just
It's not Adrian Chase.
I'm sorry.
It's not Adrian Chase, the attorney.
He's Adrian Chase, but he's just like some kid that works in a restaurant.
Yeah, he's
kind of like what they're doing with Midnight.
Wow.
Instead of being a millionaire, he's a guy that works in a florist store or owns a florist.
Yeah,
wow.
He's over top. He's as over the top violent as Peacemaker.
Wow.
And then Vigilante.
I've read some of the Vigilante stuff, and I like that, so it's like totally removed from that.
Yeah.
But then, if you saw the episode, I think last week or the week before, where he's in the prison where he fights, he's completely capable of being a superhero or villain. I mean, he knows what he's doing, but he's just a nut. Everyone's insane in the show, and it's wonderful. I mean, literally every character has mental problems. So I like it.
Yeah,
At first I wasn't sure.
Show his blood pressure is going to go up.
What?
I think if Steve watches that show, his blood pressure is going to go
Yeah,
up.
I think it would.
Well, it's certainly not the Charlton version.
Yeah.
It's not even the DC version, as far as that goes.
But nobody knows except for us and barely us the DC or the Charlton version. It's basically almost a blank slate because nobody really knows those characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't heard people speculating on Vigilante, but I'll watch some of these speculator shows on. They kind of make me pretty angry on YouTube. But and all they talk about is 9.8. They just assume that everybody buys CGC 9.8 comics, and that's the price. They're going to quote a price like if I was going to get a 3.0 unslabbed. That's the price I would want to know. something that I might actually find in the real world.
Yeah. They just don't know that answer though, because there's so much dealing with slabs and high-end books. They don't know the answer to
Well,
a
they just look at
mid-grade.
their phone at this key collector app. That's
Oh
all they
yeah,
know.
that's
And then they get hundreds of thousands of views. That's all.
Yeah.
That's like the newer collectors are interested in.
Mhm. yeah.
Buying things and slabbing them. It's like hunting and putting the head of the animal on your wall.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I find slabbing far more offensive than ever. Binding books. I mean, binding books, you still love the books. You're binding them so you can read them.
Yeah.
Slabbing, you're never going to read them again.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of books come back yesterday from CGC. They said they couldn't put them in the plastic because they were cut wrong. They thought they would damage the books. I'd never heard of anything like that. Apparently they're cut those plastic cases are cut exactly to the size of the book, and if there's a printing irregularity, it won't. They just send it back like a year later and say, "Hey, we couldn't do it."
Wow.
Money back or something.
Oh, I thought they'd put it in a Mylar, and then they put the Mylar in the slab, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's a
I
sealed,
guess
it's like a sealed Mylar. It's like a sealed up
Yeah.
But if the book,
encapsulation.
if the cut of the book somehow is off and it
Yeah,
won't
they
fit,
can't.
it's like
it'll-
a
yeah.
square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of like what they put in like those what they call those time locks, like the real thick Mylar or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to cut them.
Now, how do you get a book out of the plastic? How do you smash it open?
Get a screwdriver and find a seam. Seriously.
He's
I've heard that,
And it pops open.
but I've heard it's possible that when it's opened, that the book can stick to something. Like it's.
I've never had that problem. I'm just very careful. Screwdriver.
I bought this from this homeless guy. It was one of his possessions he had in his car, and I thought, well, he was going to sell it to me for literally really cheap. So I thought, well, I'll display it with my Frankenstein stuff, but I'd love to get it out. I can see.
Yeah.
Somebody once sold it for $1.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, just put it in the seam up here at the top, and just twist it to where the screwdriver makes a half circle. It pops open.
Yeah.
And it won't be that easy, but you just run your screwdriver. Everything's different, but that's not hard.
Maybe I should keep it as a novelty. I have this reprinted in a hardcover deal, but maybe I don't want to open it. I just now noticed that there's a smear of. Hopefully, this wasn't being read in the bathroom, but it's vintage 1955 shit. So
Yeah,
it's okay.
right.
You know, Steve, sometime this year, when he completes his Yellow Jacket run, he's going to
Yeah.
those slabs out one day.
In fact,
He'll show you how to do it. So
Yeah, in fact, what I like to do is when I get my bags and boards, start cracking these slabs. I like to do it on our Wednesday night show.
oh, it'd be fabulous. Yeah.
Just crack
To
it.
me, that would be the most wonderful.
We
Yeah.
call it a
There's got to be
liberation.
so many people that would watch just to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah,
comic
and I'll
read.
do that. And like I said, once I get my bags and boards on back order, and I'll start cracking these slabs, and I'll do it on our show.
It's one of the worst things that's happened to the hobby between that and the starting comics over again with issue number 1.
Yeah.
Now there's an Amazing Spider-Man number 1 again.
Yeah.
You know, when you on mycomicshop.com, Lone Star, when you flip through, you look up a title and an issue number, and then you scroll through, and then they say page 2. I think they give you about 49 titles before you scroll to page 2. You type in Amazing Spider-Man number 1, and there's like 6 or 7 pages. Each one has like 40, because 49. Because there's so many Amazing Spider-Man number 1s, and then each one has 20, 30 variant covers.
And I wish Lone Star would put the first one at the front, and then the next one. I wish they would do it chronologically, but they don't.
Absolutely
They
don't.
cram it in there. Yeah.
And the other thing they do is I don't know if it's my phone or mycomicshop.com that has this weird spell correct. tests. It corrects things to no. It's very frustrating. You have to type it in. It won't like what you typed, and then you have to go back and adjust it because it will look for the weirdest. It'll change the words to the weirdest things. But yeah, variant covers, starting over again. I mean, the Hulk should just be up in the thousands now. There should be no.
Correct.
Okay, those things also. Too many, like the X-Men explosion in the 90s, too many different X titles. That was another horrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll forgive the industry for the chrome covers and all that. Just don't start. It's too confusing. I don't even know how you read an Overstreet price guide now.
Yeah.
Because how would you have to see the variant covers to know which one.
And I'm not going to be able to describe this correctly, but there were times when I wanted to see X-Men number 12, but oh no, I forgot to type in Uncanny X-Men or X-Men. At one point it becomes X-Men. I don't know. Stuff like that irritates me.
Okay, and then here's where it gets. We know an Uncanny X-Men when we see it. We know an Uncanny X-Men annual when we see it. But if you were a 22-year-old, which I work with, it's hard for them to see, to know, because sometimes on the Uncanny X-Men, they leave off the Uncanny. On most of the annuals, they do. So they were getting put in with the other title, which is X-Men, which, by the way, some of those early issues of that comic that was pretty much worthless, those early issues are becoming hot because they're going to revive the cartoon, I'm sure, with nudity and all kinds of horrible stuff in it. Hey, we're going to do stuff that wasn't allowed in that old Saturday morning cartoon. That cartoon was perfectly fine and perfectly adult. What are they going to do? Put in all this stuff with Wolverine and Jean Grey? I'm sure that's what they're up to. But some of those early issues, because the covers were so iconic and as far as looking like the cartoon, they're going up in value.
I'm sure we'll have today's sensibilities.
Oh yeah.
What sensibilities?
That's kind of a contradiction in terms, isn't it?
Now, Steve, you do E. Gerber, right?
Yes, I do.
So yours won't look like this, will it?
No, yeah, my lights, and I get the halfbacks.
Okay.
Yep, those are exactly what I order.
Is there My Lights 2? Is there My Lights 1?
They're very thin, but they're nice, crinkly, shiny.
Yeah. The
That
My
must
Lights
be what
1,
I have.
they don't have a flap. The My Lights 2 have a flap, my understanding. The My Lights 1, the regular My Lights, you set it in, there's no flap. It's open on top.
Okay, so what was I buying back in the 80s that's like it was called a My Light, and then I would just fold it over like I'd do a regular plastic bag and take
They've
it.
changed it since then, Ken.
You had a 4 milliliter. This is a 2 milliliter, so it's thinner, but they're cheaper.
Yeah,
and they're almost as good. But
so they do not make what I have anymore.
Oh, they probably still do. It's hard to find them.
Yeah. It's and the website's weird because you can't order online. You got to call them up and tell them what you want from what you see on the screen, which is kind of strange.
Huh.
Yeah, you got to speak to the secretary, and she's real nice, but everything's on back order right now.
Yeah. So they probably make them in China then. Hey, you know something that's suspicious with all the supply chain failures? The stuff that's disappearing from the supermarkets, the one that I noticed the most that's completely almost bare is cat food. And I'm thinking, is that coming from China? Why is there dog food but not cat food? Is it political prisoners in China ground up into these little cans?
Well, as I understand it, most of the modern comic book pros live on cat food.
Oh,
nice.
Hey, Spinner.
But I'll tell you what, I was liking Peacemaker. Then they started a Peacemaker comic, and I look at the comic, and it looks so dour and boring. And I'm thinking it should be more like the TV show. So here's a case where I kind of wish the comics would have some fun in them. You know, what came out Wednesday, you know, in the 90s, I was just talking about, I did a show this morning. Everyone was pissed off when X-Force all of a sudden under Joe Quesada, whatever, they turned it into this insane comic with the all reds. And
comics is no place for fun, mister.
And it was, I love that. And now they brought that back. It's now called Excellent or something. So I actually bought a new comic the other day.
Yeah, I saw on your channel. It looked fun.
Huh?
I said, look fun. The book you picked up, the Mike Allred book, it looks good.
Oh yeah, I haven't read it yet. I just
it looks good
yesterday.
Yeah. I got turned off of Allred when I love Madman, but then he started turning Madman into a political, his speak voice for his political.
Oh, did he get political with it?
With Madman, yeah.
It's just I like people's style that looks like the era I like.
Yeah.
Because people that can do, I mean, I love Alex Ross. I love Mike Allred and
great.
The guy that passed away, what was his name, that did the New Frontier?
Cook. Yeah.
Cook. And someone else, there's a few other people. Steve Rude. Yeah, all these people. That's who should be doing everything. And there's a lot of great covers that I see.
Yeah.
But the insides all look like they just look terrible. Like they were drawn by computers. But there was a cover. They do these weird stuff like every cover. Last week was unbelievable. There were like maybe they were variant covers, but there would be a picture. There'd be a cover with Peacemaker and Vigilante, and then you'd look at the very tiny at the corner, and it would say Harley Quinn, and it was a Harley Quinn comic, and the Peacemaker wasn't in it at all.
Weird.
And they did it on 4 or 5 DC titles. They just put Peacemaker as a variant cover. And then DC does this thing where they have the title in tiny print on the sideways. So someone could come in and just, a Peacemaker comic, get it home and realize it's not anywhere inside. It's the weirdest stuff. Yeah. And then Marvel did this thing where every character was combined with another character on the cover, and it wasn't in the story. But there was a cover with Spider-Woman, and I don't know if she was combined with a Punisher, but it was pretty cool with all the bullet holes behind her. I actually bought that because I just like my cover turning into nuts.
By the way, D. Jones's last comment. If any of you guys haven't seen the Steve Rude documentary, highly recommend it.
It's great.
How do you see it?
3 or 4 times, yeah.
Oh, God, I think it might have been on Amazon. I don't know if anybody's ever posted it on YouTube or not, but I think I watched it on Amazon.
I think my wife can get it off Amazon.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great documentary. I watched it multiple times. Rude, he's a different kind of guy.
Didn't he have he had legal trouble, right?
Yeah, he had legal trouble. He's bipolar, and he's got a lot of mental issues.
You can understand why he got along so well with Mike Barron.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember him having legal troubles.
Yeah, I think one part of it, he was going to a convention in Memphis, and something happened, and he ended up in jail after he got off the plane or something, and I think he finally showed up, and he says, "What are you?" So I'm a comic book artist. What are you doing in jail? He's comical.
Yeah, it's a Nexus for life there. Yeah, I don't think Jerry's still here, but that's his all-time favorite comic.
Yeah, Nexus is a great book.
It is, yeah.
What could Jerry be doing instead of hanging out with us?
Whatever it is he's doing, he's making a mistake.
Oh. Gratu, I don't know if you saw last night's episode,
I haven't had a chance yet.
Spinner was showing some fantastic Harvey slabs.
Oh yeah,
Of Windy and Hot Stuff and Casper.
Little Dot.
They look about 9.4, 9.6. They were fantastic stuff.
From the 60s or
70s, 60s, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't got to watch it yet. I'll check that out. I got a couple Harvey slabs.
And Dr. Silver Age couldn't be on last night, and I was going to kid him, send him an email that we showed every go-go checks there ever was in chronological order, and it was perfect. He missed it, but we ended up showing about 90 of them.
It seemed like it.
Yeah.
I kind of thought he'd pop in today.
He must be just getting back from work.
Yeah, I don't think up there snow keeps them from going to work. I think they're used to it.
Oh, but I know he works so early in the morning. I figured he'd be home by now. I think he works like very, very early in the morning.
And Spinner wants you to know, Gratu, he didn't slab them himself. He bought them that way. But
It's okay. I've got a slab.
sure.
I helped out a homeless man, so I can feel virtuous for that.
Right.
Virtue signal.
Yeah, I actually talked to Rod last Saturday. Said they were getting like 20 inches of snow. So
Goodness.
Which is as traumatic to them as a dusting is to
Right.
us.
Yeah.
well, and two, he drives like an hour and 40 minutes one way to work.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
And I
Well,
thought
you didn't know that.
I drive right at an hour, get to Versailles.
And the parking spaces around where he works isn't very good. He'll get there way early. He'll sleep for an hour in the car and then wake up and go into work early. So
I think he told me he's been there almost 40 years now.
that's why he's with us for about an hour. Then he's gone. He's only got just a brief window to sleep. So
Yeah, that'll be me when I go to days.
How close is he to retirement?
I think he's pretty close. I think he's got maybe another 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
After going 40 years?
Wow.
Yeah, but look at his comic book collection.
yeah.
He could have already been retired, probably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that with the TV Guide and the wrestling magazines, you name it.
Bubblegum machines. And
Yeah.
I mean, thanks to my hobbies, I'll be working posthumously.
oh, yeah. I'm with you there.
Yeah, one day when they go through my stuff, they'll say, "Hey, when he held that up, he held it up too quick. He didn't show you all the wrinkles and all the cracks, and they'll be real disappointed." But let them. I won't care.
Right.
Yeah,
So you
most
have
of
a
my collection
Fantastic
looks
Four
like that.
#1 graphic, man?
Personality.
6. 6 is my oldest.
Okay, 6 on. Okay. Man, you guys really shame me with your collections.
So have
I
you
guess
guys seen the cartoonist kayfabe where both guys will read the lawyer talking to Stan Lee
I
about
was just about to talk about that.
Okay, yeah.
That's where I remember earlier when you were showing the Kid Colts, that's where I heard Stan Lee through one of them talk about the Martin Goodman having that fetish for the word kid.
I've only seen round 1, so
Yeah, they put another one up yesterday. What it
Does it
is,
get
they get
a little
these
more
court
interesting?
transcripts, and the two of them read back and forth, and it's just
Right.
great listening. And they were doing, and I guess they're still doing the Michael Fleischer trial, and they're going to do a whole bunch of them coming up. Where Michael Fleischer was suing Harlan Ellison for saying he was
yeah.
crazy.
It's good stuff, but I would on YouTube I'd put it on speed 1.25 or something because it is a courtroom and those can get real tedious, but
Oh, okay.
just speed it up just a little bit and
Just a
you're
little
fine.
chipmunk action.
Not that much.
They used to do that on the radio. I don't know if they do it anymore, but what DJs would do is they'd play the record slightly fast, and then whenever you went and listened to the other radio station, it would sound boring because you're used to hearing that song faster. and plus they could get through more songs and play more commercials. And so it was a psychological thing. And then, of course, Ted Turner started using that technology to speed up all the old TV shows. So, because I was so obsessed with getting a complete set of the Addams Family on VHS in the 90s, I went psychotic. And now you can get it at any Best Buy. Well, Best Buy doesn't, you can't get DVDs anymore, but you can order from Amazon. You can get the whole set of the Addams Family all uncut. But when I realized they deregulated the FCC and they said you can have more commercials per hour, so they started cutting chunks out of Star Trek and I Love Lucy and all these old shows. They'd cut about 5 or 6 minutes out of every episode, and so when they started cutting, I wanted the Addams Family. So on TBS, Ted Turner's channel, he would speed the show up, and I think he would show the whole show, or he would cut out stuff in the center of the show, and he'd speed it up. And then the local station that was running the Addams Family, after the opening credits, they'd come back and the opening segment of the show, they'd start about a couple of minutes into it and just cut out some stuff. So I would record TBS and my local station, and then when I got a match, I'd record it every day, and it's okay, now I've got this episode from TBS and from my local station, and then I would dub it to another tape, and I'd have the sped up segment from TBS, and I would edit it in to have a complete show.
That is a lot of work.
That's dedication there,
That is dedication.
Carolyn Jones, how obsessed was I with Carolyn to do that and just loving the show. And it was nuts.
Wow.
It was maybe about 20 years ago or so, the Sci-Fi Network showed all the old Star Trek, and they showed in all the old stuff that got cut. So you'd watch it, it'd be about an hour and 20 minutes with all their commercials that they were going to put in.
Right.
But I thought that was neat. They're showing you everything.
And then they also would add little segments.
You'd have William Shatner standing there talking or something. Yeah.
And they would also show the coming next week on Star Trek.
Right.
They'd show those tags on there too.
And look at those episodes now. They've added a lot of stuff, like beauty shots of the Enterprise and the planets and the backgrounds and all that kind of stuff to make it look a little bit better. You seen those?
Yep. Yeah, sometimes it looks good, but I'd just rather everything be kept the way it was.
Agreed.
Because, and it's like, okay, so you had, I don't think there's any existing shots, pre-existing shots of the big giant model that was the size of a VW Bug they used in the original series. Everything's been replaced with computer animation. It's now dated, just like Star Trek The Next Generation used the computer animation that's dated now because we're generations down from that. And they did that with Star Wars too. Star Wars won the Academy Award. John Dykstra won the Academy Award in '77 for the effects. And I don't think there's hardly any of his effects left in A New Hope. I mean, because all the spaceships are computer models, and I don't know. I don't think they should muck around with things from the past unless they give you both versions. And I think they do that with Star Trek. You buy the DVD and you can watch the original episode or the new one. But if you're watching like Antenna TV or whatever, Me TV, they're only going to give you the new version.
Yeah.
And that's how most people probably see it. But sometimes some of the effects that they change are kind of interesting. But still, it cuts back to the 60s footage, and it just somehow doesn't match to me. And let's see. Yeah, they do use old style special effects in some of those new Star Wars movies, but it still doesn't change that they're emasculating characters that we love. Or, I mean, Okay, so what they did is you end on this high note with Return of the Jedi, where it's the so Han Solo and Princess Leia are, I guess you figure, well, they live happily ever after. So they make a sequel where they're divorced and he's gone back to being exactly as he was before the original Star Wars, and it's like, and so he didn't grow as a character. All the character growth, the arc, whatever, is gone. And then she looks like she's a meth head because in real life she was on a lot of drugs and led a rough life. And then what they do with Luke Skywalker, where they just make him just this, they don't have respect for the older characters. Yeah, they're there, but they're not treated with any respect. So and then when they fired that bodybuilder, I was kind of thinking, well, I'll watch The Mandalorian, and this looks like this could be okay. And then I hear they fired her, and then I was going to catch up, and I figure I'm done with this before I even got to her appearance on the show, because what she said was nowhere close to as bad as what Whoopi Goldberg said a couple of days ago, and she just got a 2-week suspension.
Yeah.
I tell you a movie that holds up pretty good, The Black Hole. My son does not care for any movie at all, really.
Uh-huh.
He's seen very few in his life. He's got in front of a little screen, of course.
Yeah.
I made him watch Black Hole, and he loved it.
Yeah.
And I was surprised he did, because I thought he's going to think the robots are too clunky or something, but the effects were still pretty good.
Mm-hmm. They hold up.
1980 Disney.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like a 1980 movie. When I saw it in 1980, it felt like a movie that was 20 years old, the way the acting. And I'm not knocking it because I like movies from that era, but it felt very much like a movie from 1960.
And the cast was, I wouldn't expect to think Ernest Borgnine's going to really hold his own, but it's pretty good casting.
Yeah.
Borgnine's was a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie. You guys seen that old sci-fi movie Silent Running?
Oh, yeah. Bruce Dern.
Yeah, you're talking about special effects and everything. Those little robots he had were actually little people. Like, I think they were paraplegics, weren't they, Steve?
Yeah, I think they had an amalgam of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Paraplegics, little people, all those little robots controlling the arms and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
I love Silent Running. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's good. He's playing poker with the little robots, and they're cheating and everything.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
And then there was Dark Star. Didn't that have a Charlton comic? No, it was a DC romance comic in that.
Oh yeah, I don't know about that one.
Have you seen that movie?
Dark Star.
It was like I think John Carpenter's first movie. It was a student project, and then he finished it out as a feature film. And it's just these guys with beards. They're like kind of like hippies on a spaceship where their mission is to go and blow up. I don't know if they're blowing up suns or something.
Is it good?
It's enjoyable, and it's kind of got this parody of HAL 9000, where it's a little bomb that has this little personality and he has to talk this bomb into not exploding or something.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that. I probably saw that when it first came out. Yeah.
It's probably pretty easy to see. It might even be on YouTube. I just noticed Escape from the Planet of the Apes popped up on YouTube. It's a lot of feature films on YouTube now that are just free.
Yeah, big fan of John Carpenter. I'm surprised I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's fun. They're just like listening to country music and reading comic books. They're just it's kind of like it's like Alien in the sense that space travel or spacemen are shown to be just like truckers or just people that are just so burned out.
Yeah, they're dirtied up. Yeah.
I watched I guess about a month ago, popped up on one of the streaming services, and I watched Battle Beyond the Stars.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's serious cheese, but it's a good little movie.
Yeah.
Fun. And to have a character, people always say, well, we just can't have the Avengers look like they do in the comic book on the movies because people wouldn't accept the Scarlet Witch. It just looks too crazy. But no, if those actors had comic accurate suits and the movie was exactly the same, people would have loved it. I'm not knocking the movie, but I mean, because it's like what made me think of that is just the way that Sybil Danning, was it Sybil Danning in that? The way that she's dressed, it's like straight out of a comic book. And it works. You don't say, oh, that's just too cheap. I like cheese.
Yeah, kind of had that Barbarella thing going on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How is this Barbarella comic that's currently being produced? Is it crappy?
Don't know. I never.
No one even bothers. Yeah.
Didn't even know it was out.
The first series I heard was kind of SJW-y.
Oh.
So
there's another series already.
Well, it's 2022. Of course, it was relaunched.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It just started like 5-6 issues.
That's a good run these days. Everything's a miniseries.
Okay.
So that's why the back issue bins are like witness protection programs for indie series.
Well, a lot of these books don't. Well, I guess some of them. I don't really see. I guess they print to demand pretty much now. How many books do you think are actually printed of a new comic? A couple thousand?
Well, it's based on pre-order.
Yeah.
And it can be anywhere from, just as low as 1,000, maybe even a little bit less on certain things.
On a Marvel or DC?
No, Marvel and DCs are higher, but remember the America series by National Treasure Gabby Rivera?
I don't know that.
That was the character that was very popular in the Young Avengers, but Marvel decided that they wanted to make her from bisexual to full-on lesbian.
Okay.
And they decided they wanted her to be Hispanic, even though she was an alien. So they went out and recruited a gay Hispanic woman to write her, who kind of looked like a fire plug given form and flesh. And it was inarguably the worst comic book ever written.
So this is that America Chavez character that's in the new Doctor Strange movie?
Yes.
Okay.
And I completely forgot why I started talking about this.
You were talking about
Print Run.
Yes, Print Run. Thank you. Thanks for steering me back. By the 12th issue, I think the print run was down to like 10,000. And it didn't. The only reason why they're not all still sitting in stores is because of speculation.
Right.
And but yeah, that's ridiculously low.
Wow.
And a lot of their, like the last issue of Iceman was probably down close to four figures. I mean, it's just. Wait a minute, I didn't besmirch National Treasure Gabby. Oh, okay, yeah, I did call her a fire plug.
Yeah.
But other than that,
back in the 70s, a comic book would sell like 200,000 and they would cancel it. That was, they weren't making money. 200,000 issues. This was in the 70s. They'd be lucky if the bestsellers hit that mark, right?
all the books in the early 90s that we all made fun of, although now we probably would revere them compared to like Darkhawk and Sleepwalker and stuff like that. Those were all selling better than they're comparable to the highest selling books today. And they're like the top end, because there are months where nothing even gets to 100,000. Yeah, Anthony, the original creator of America Chavez, I think Jamie Dragata, or Dragata was his name, did a version of it I can't remember what he changed it to, and released it as an indie book. And it wasn't done in that style, but it showed what the character could be, because in Marvel Comics, there's an issue where Riri Williams, who became the new Iron Man, even though she was a 15-year-old girl, but gender is just a construct in Marvel. She went to Latveria and took over the country. And
15-year-old.
Yeah, and so in the America, the version done by the original creator, he had that character go to a version of Latveria, and the despotic ruler there just basically patted her on the head, gave her a cookie, and sent her on her way. And it's, like I say, it was actually not a bad book. So it's like Eglantine says, there are no bad characters. There's just bad writers.
Yeah.
You mentioned Darkhawk. I had high hopes for Darkhawk. I remember getting that off the stands, and then after about 25 issues, you realize this isn't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Not learning anything about where he gets his powers from, and the dynamic of being, I guess, raised in a single parent household. It kind of reminded me of Nova, because Nova in the 70s was kind of, a young guy having to deal with all this stuff and just being a teenager.
Yeah.
What Darkhawk had that I sorely miss in modern comics is the supporting cast.
Mhm.
They don't have them anymore because there's no time for them, because every character that has his own comic, it's one world-ending event after another.
And there's only like 2 or 3 panels on every page. So it used to be lots of panels. You could have all these subplots and stuff going on.
But Darkhawk number 2, right after the origin, he's with Spider-Man, Hobgoblin. Then by issue 6, he's got Captain America and Daredevil. Then they put him with the Venom, then Tombstone. I mean, they really tried.
They're desperate
to get him, spread out. But it's just a weird helmet, the face mask, the claw thingy. It was just kind of a bizarre construct. But I really wanted it to succeed. I'm not one of these guys that go, well, this isn't as good as the Fantastic Four. I don't want it. No, I was rooting for them big time, but
they brought him into that cosmic thing that Abnett and Lanning did in the 2006 through 2009. And he was treated well in that. And then I think he popped up again about 7 or 8 years later, but by this time these were just not nearly as talented creators rehashing stories that have been done better before.
And I think I stop at issue 25. So I have no idea what happens to him. And I guess I don't care. No, the older I get, I want to get all the bronze DC I can get my hands on. But unfortunately, Shannon is sitting right in front of them all. So, Shannon, I wanted to
take far from the truth.
I wanted to take a picture of you, and then like how I put pictures on my boxes, I was going to put Kool-Aid Man on every one of your boxes there. So you've got all 1 million of them. So
yeah, I was a real speculator back then.
No, but Shannon, I don't know if you saw last night, but even little runs of DC like Ghost Castle. Are you familiar with that one?
Oh yeah. I've got all 2 issues.
There's 3 issues.
Oh, 3, yeah, all 3 issues.
And I've got 2 and 3.
Okay. Have you got that run of Sherlock Holmes that DC did?
No, I sure don't.
That is only 2, isn't it?
No, that's just 1. That was a one-shot.
No. Simonson, I think, did the work on it, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, showed that last night, but
yeah, I like
there's
this.
number 2.
I think I might have featured that in a video maybe a couple 3 years ago.
And little Secrets of Haunted House.
Oh yeah.
So I think those are awesome. But when I was younger, I wouldn't have even touched them because they weren't Marvel. They weren't Iron Man, Captain America, Fantastic Four.
See, now, I was the other way, you know.
The occasional DC that I would get my hands on, especially in the 70s, they always had that little ad where they would show you the little bitty covers of the books in like 1972. And they'd be black and white, but the title would be in color.
Right.
And the pictures they showed were fascinating. As a Marvel guy, I thought, wow, this Sergeant Rock guy, it was the one where he's got to play dead. Here's the Nazis over here, and there's this Cobra right here. And he has to make sure he plays dead so that he doesn't get shot by the Germans, and you got to fool this Cobra too. And you probably got that book, but as a little kid, I thought, where do I find that? Because that was totally awesome.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact number. It's one of the 20-cent covers, I think.
It's Our Fighting Forces, I believe.
Well, if it was Sergeant Rocket, it's probably Our Army at War.
Or maybe it was.
Yeah.
Because to me, Cooper drew all those guys alike, so I don't know. It was somebody. But Weird War Tales is phenomenal. I just can't get enough of that. So
good series. Yeah, I started out collecting comics. I mean, I was a DC guy. I mean, starting out, I read the Harvey and the Archie and all that. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm in trouble. There's an earthquake. But I really didn't get. I mean, the Marvel stuff I read when I was collecting early was like the monster reprints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Dwells and Creatures Roam and Worlds Unknown, all that. Well, Worlds Unknown, I think that might have been new stories. Yeah, all that stuff, and I really didn't get into Marvel until like the late 70s because my sister, when she was in high school, she was selling like magazine subscriptions. You could get a subscription to like Avengers and Fantastic Four. So, I did that, and I got a subscription for a year. You know how they did it? They were folded up in a little and I really got into it, and then I started looking at other stuff, and was, oh gosh, I've missed the boat on a lot of this, because I was a DC guy. Well, that's why I'm like more heavy, in DC stuff than I am Marvel.
The two subscriptions I had was Dennis the Menace from Marvel, and in that same time period, Marvel Team Up.
Oh wow!
Because I'd get Iron Man, I'd get X-Men, I'd get everybody. But I've never seen Marvel Team Up. And it was around the time period where, I don't know if you remember that Spider-Man on the cover with the Watcher, or Spider-Man with Dominic Fortune.
Right.
120s.
Spider-Man with Wolverine. Then the next issue was Professor X. So it was in that frame with the early Dennis the Menace Marvel.
Okay.
Because I figured I'll never see those. And so I always got them in the mailbox, and they never had a crease.
Wow.
That's cool.
Well, at a certain point, they started sending them flat because I found some cardboard that has a picture of Spider-Man and someone's address that I guess at some point they sent them bagged with a piece of cardboard flat. Yeah. This magazine, you guys read this? Retro?
Yeah, choose that. Yeah.
I just opened this up and saw there's an article on the Monster Times in here. And the old Super 8, I have that Star Wars. This article on the Monster Times, and I forgot about this Gray Morrow Star Trek drawing poster.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, it's like just unbelievable. It's just like this was made for us. These are books I've been meaning to get. Monster Mash. I didn't even know that existed there.
That's funny you should mention that.
Yeah. You have one on you?
Well, I said, I was just showing that, yes, I do buy Retro Fan, and I was going to ask Gratsu if he had this.
No,
wow.
I've known it existed for a couple of years. I'm gonna get it at some point.
Yeah, I've known about Groovy. I've been meaning to get that one also, but this one,
You got a
like I said,
hardcover.
I mean, look, check that
Yeah.
out.
Goodness.
Oh, wow.
That would be a great wallpaper.
It sure would.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
I'd want a
I
suit coat of that.
I mean, this has you written all over it, Ken.
Guys, do you know there's a pizza place? I think it's in Indiana called Famous Monsters Pizza. And
No.
it's got a monster theme, and they've got Famous Monsters covers, and they project horror movies like every Friday. I think it's in Indiana. I mean, you could do a Google search or something, but yeah, it's in some little small town, I think in Indiana. Famous Monsters Pizza. I guess somehow they were able to use that name, or maybe no one noticed.
Well, I'd order from them tonight.
Yeah.
They'd have to
Sounds
deliver.
So
I would shovel for them. Yeah. I guess 4 people have already died shoveling this year.
Oh, wow.
what?
I don't know where I heard that. But, so I've yet to shovel. I've been doing a lot of kicking, stomping, and pushing snow around, but and that's headed your way.
Well, Charlton went out to Stevens went out to start pre-shoveling, I guess.
Yeah. He wanted to get that famous monster pizza.
Yeah.
It's just funny. I mentioned pizza, and he walks out.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get that Monster Mash book. It looks awesome.
It's a blast. Yeah, but Tomorrow's does great stuff. I mean, I hope they can hang on because they do those comic book chronicles. Do any of you guys have those?
Yeah, I've got a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah, those are fantastic. Now, unfortunately, the one from the 40s that finally came out, the guy did a lot of virtue signaling in his writing.
Uh-huh.
And that's unfortunate because we know there were stereotypes in the 40s.
Yeah.
We don't need you apologizing for them and telling us we're bad because we weren't there to stop it. But other than that, I've loved every one of those that I've read.
There's some other stuff they've got. There's that Retro A-Go-Go Charlton sent to me.
Yeah, I've got several of those. Yeah, I got the Crept from the Tomb and the MLJ Companion, and
I didn't even know some of these existed. It Crept from the Tomb. That's reprints of old stories, I guess.
I think I got that over here actually.
And I think they this is the company that put out that Marie Severin book. So yeah, it's like, but none of this stuff is ordered by any store locally. I think there's a store in Fort Worth that orders.
Yeah.
That's where I got the Marie Severin book, but it's like 30.
I got the Crept
Oh,
from the Tomb.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a lot of great stuff in it.
Oh, okay. Neat.
Got a color section. That's pretty cool.
The cover illustrations, the positioning of the monsters, a little unfortunate because it almost looks.
Yeah, that looks a
Little
little
wrong.
risque.
Yeah, it looks like a crime that can't be mentioned on YouTube.
Right.
So, Ken, did you, when you were looking through Retro Fan, how quick was it before you went onto My Comic Shop to see how many issues of the Monster Times they had in stock?
Well, I did that at the beginning of the pandemic, and out of boredom, and it was around my birthday in April of 2020, and so I thought, well, I need to fill in the holes in my Monster Times collection. So I got a whole bunch from them then, but they were sent to like several different states up north and then over there, and then they finally came back to me because at the beginning of the pandemic, the post office was going crazy and sending everything to the wrong place. But I finally got them, and the store is, I mean, I could bicycle to it would be a long bicycle trip, but to where mycomicshop.com's big giant warehouse is. And I could have just gotten them, but they had to be sent all over the place and take weeks. Usually they're real quick. But anyway, yeah. So I've already kind of done that. And I haven't looked lately, but I do want to fill in the holes. And then last week's show, some classic comic collector was showing Inside Comics. He'd found 3 issues. I think the only 3 existing issues of the comic book companion magazine to Monster Times. And I'd seen Captain Strangelife's show 1 before, but I've never actually seen that. And so I was wanting to get those, but I don't know if people have already ordered clean the shelves off mycomicshop.com on those. I wanted to get those sometime in my life. I would like to read those.
Micah, can I ask Naxum, or how you pronounce that, the Kentucky quiz? I said, this guy asked, I said, do you know Paul Mullins of Comic Book World?
Maybe a little, huh?
It's the Kentucky litmus test.
I thought you were going to ask him what his favorite Bill Monroe song was.
I'm guessing you guys are still going to be in Lexington in March, right?
I don't know.
Don't know?
Here's your answer.
Okay, knows Doug. He ran the Louisville store. Yeah, Doug retired, as did Paul, and now the kids are running the asylum, both of them. Yeah, Doug, he had a weird way of collecting personally. He would just keep them in the months they came out. And you could go over to his place. One of the stories was he had a first issue of Fantastic Four unbagged and boarded, like sitting on top of a radiator.
Oh, wow.
It's like stuff just thrown around.
Jeez.
Well, not anymore. he's pumped a good chunk of them back into the stores. He probably still has more. I mean, the guy had, it's insane how much stuff he had accumulated over the years.
Talking about Paul?
Doug.
Doug? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Paul was one of those guys that he kept a few things, but his personal collection probably numbered in the hundreds.
Oh, yeah.
Versus and that's smart, because I said it's, one of the things, like, all the years I worked for my brother at the record store, I refused to let myself get into album collecting. I can't do that with comics. I'm too addicted.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's if you can not, the owner does not collect, which is smart. He's a toy guy. So that helps, because if you got a staff full of collectors, nothing good ever gets out to the public.
Yeah.
You ever watch this guy on YouTube named ETA Nick?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
His whole channel seems to be about purging. And it's like,
Yeah, it's weird. I don't get it.
Only 500 comics in my collection. I will not have more than 500. So on this episode, I'm going to decide which issues I'm going to save of this, or which. It's so strange. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying he's.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. It's just a strange way of doing videos about, and he grades things, and then he talks about them if they're really going to be back at this grade or not, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Nick is one of those guys. He's been around a long time. I mean, he's one of the first guys I followed.
Yeah.
You probably did too, Steve.
Yeah.
And then early on, it was like just the way we do it, showing old comics and what about this artist, and I'm going through and but it's mostly and that's just personal choice. But he mostly talks about the marketplace and the slabs and I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
What does CPA mean?
Kind of takes the enjoyment out of it for me. So
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, Nick's a great guy. I actually got one of his comic from his collection, because he Dr. Monticello with a book, and it had Nick's little stamp on the back of it, and I think it was a Joe Kubert Tarzan, and then John gifted that one to me.
Nice.
So I've got been gifted twice with one book.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I remember one time he talked about two runs that he absolutely has no use for in his collection, and he doesn't like them at all. And they were like my favorite stuff, not Brand Eck and Plop. It's like he
yeah,
did not understand these books. I guess because they were humorous, and maybe he likes his stuff serious.
Yeah,
He seems like kind of a serious guy.
Oh, I love Plop. And what was that one?
that was a Wilkerson, man.
Marvel did Arg.
Yeah.
That has one of my all-time favorite stories in it. I can't remember the issue, but the story was called Gerald's World, and it had Tom Sutton art. And I can't remember. It's like issue 2, or I can't remember. But Steve, you would love it if you don't have it already. You would love it.
Okay.
Yeah, just they want to look that up, but it's hilarious.
Was it an ARG?
Yeah.
Okay, I have I think 5 issues.
5 issues. Yeah. But it had that one that had the Tom Sutton story, and I love that one because the first issue I had was like a coverless deal,
Yeah.
And I probably read it to death.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom Sutton. That's some stuff definitely worth. Trying to find.
But one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I got a little copy of traded a friend in 3rd or 4th grade for a comic book called Crazy, which predated Marvel's magazine, that reprinted not Brand Eck.
Right.
And I just could not believe how wonderful it was. The first issue of Fantastic Four, but it was Marie Severin redrawing. I don't know if Jack Kirby did the pencils and then she did her inks on top of it. But it was just panel for panel a parody of the first issue of Fantastic Four, and then Marie Severin doing a parody of the Silver Age Superman, and all the cast of characters and cats and dogs and everything and horses. And then I think I showed this. I talked about it once before, and Graphic Man immediately pulled. You mean this?
Oh yeah.
You've got everything like at your fingertips.
I had not Brand Eck right here. Yeah.
Where Superman is sobbing and all the they call it marble instead of marble. Yeah. All the Marvel heroes are coming up, and that just really got to me. So I've always loved Marie Severin, and another thing, I think they've now confirmed that Submariner is going to be the villain in the new Black Panther movie. So Submariner, if you need any holes filled in your collection, because they've always been affordable, it may be time to do it before all the wonderful fellow collectors get out there and start buying them up.
I thought about 10 years ago, I thought they ought to get this Phelps guy from the Olympics. They ought to have him play Submariner.
Oh, Michael Phelps.
I thought, it might bring, 1 million people into the theater. I don't know.
I don't. Is he part Asian?
Well, I don't know, but I figured.
I don't know the guy. I think I'm picturing someone in my mind.
He's used to running around with just swim trunks.
Oh, okay.
And I know they'd have to muscular him up a little, but.
Well, not necessarily, because, like Buster Crabbe looked spot on like a comic book character, and he was a swimmer, Olympic swimmer, and the way his body type is exactly, unless it's like a Rob Liefeld kind of ridiculous, or that artist, what was his name, Kelly, that worked in Batman and Swamp Thing for a little while, that drew all these muscles in the stomach area that don't exist. Kelly that tried to draw the Bernie Wrightson ears on Batman. It was just insane.
Kelly Jones.
But he drew like 2 foot long ears and then muscles that's like he'd never seen a human being in his life.
He did Dead Man with no body at all except for a bunch of abs.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
The hip bones sticking out, and it's just weird, man.
Yeah, well, I apologize to any Kelly Jones fans out there, but I never got that.
That's cool.
Well, it looked like he was trying to be Bernie Wrightson.
He failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that was the intent.
Yeah, I think he was a big Bernie fan.
Mm.
Well, you guys got to show anything, or we've exhausted all our stuff from last night. Anybody still out there? Here's an old unexpected.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've got to watch last night's episode.
It was pretty good. It didn't last too long.
On the plus side,
Had,
it's about the size,
had Metarog.
about the length of a ABC made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, Metarog's always great.
Yeah.
He's great.
He had some great Harveys. We were just loaded with Harveys last night.
Mhm.
Well, it was good to get Shannon on here. He's hoping
Appreciate
to
it.
go to Days soon, probably by the end of this month. So
Maybe. I'm not banking on anything.
he's
anymore.
not holding his breath, but that's what we're hoping for. So.
Oh, your whole work schedule's going to flip flop.
Well, they I've been trying
promised.
to do a day shift, and they had like you can put in for it, but I had the best. I had more seniority than everybody else, so they told me like before we had Christmas shutdown, okay, you get to go first, but then it might be, when we come back from the shutdown. So I figured it was gonna be like the first week of January. Well, it didn't work out that way. So I was kind of getting irritated, and I was talking to my production manager, which I was talking to Mike about this. He's just there on temporary assignment. He normally works at Jack Daniels, and our real production manager is deployed. He's in military service. Won't be back till May. And this guy, he's like a deer in the headlights. And okay, well, we're going to try to get you there. And then they said, okay, last week they said I was going to go this Monday. So, but we had to work Saturday, and my supervisor, she called me and said, Shannon, we need to have a talk. So she got him on the phone, and he was like on speakerphone. I know we told you were going to go to first shift, but we're going to have to halt that because we have people out with COVID issues, people are on vacation, and people have taken other positions and don't want to leave second shift shorthanded. And I'm like, of course, my supervisor, she was shaking her head, and she knew what it was. And she said, I'm so sorry. And I said, well, I know this wasn't you. I said, it's just somebody that doesn't really know how things work. And so now I said, well, what's a hard date on this? Well, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks or so. And
Wow.
so it kind of kicked me in the stomach because I'd already made like plans with family and
Oh yeah, of course.
and wanted to get with you guys. And I was like, man, I said, what? Can't catch a break. Hopefully soon though.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm shooting for the end of February. So.
Okay. I'll try to be optimistic and go with you on that.
That'll give 3 weeks, right? So,
yeah. Well, guys, I'm gonna have to get off here. Enjoy being with you, Steve.
It's great.
Too.
All right, Shannon. Good seeing you, buddy.
Yeah, it's
And,
good.
hopefully
See
soon I'll catch you again on Wednesday nights.
You bet.
All right. You guys have a good one.
You too, Shannon. Take care, bud.
You said.
Well, we started talking about Ken Anderson and the Cincinnati Bengals. So, I don't know if we need to go ahead.
So I thought Ken Anderson was the guy that played. Was it? No, that's Richard Anderson that was in the $6 Million Man. That shows you what I know about sports.
That's a good segue. So,
He also played one of the first gay men in a movie.
Okay.
In The Long Hot Summer.
Mm.
They didn't come out and say it, but it was revealed later. That's why he didn't have any interest in. I think it was Joanne Woodward's character. He was, promised to her, but he really didn't want anything to do with her.
Remember him in Kolchak, where he was the
Night
doctor?
Strangler.
Yeah, who lived forever.
Malcolm Richards. Richard Malcolm.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, they just put the series on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah.
With commentary and all that stuff, and they finally put the 2 movies on Blu-ray. And I saw buy all 3 for like $88, and man, I came so close. I mean, I've got them all, but I mean, I could recite the two movies.
That's
I've
my
got
all-time favorite show.
I've got it all on DVD, but I mean, what? I wonder how much it would. I guess it would gain on Blu-ray, but there's no stores that really sell Blu-rays anymore.
No, this was Amazon. It retails for $100. Prime had it down to $50, and I can't. Why they would have tried $100 to begin with is beyond me. I mean, I said I was the biggest Kolchak fan in the world, but the show itself, I guess I like better now than I did when it was out because compared to the movies, the show sucked. The movies were just so great, and everything that made those movies great, they got rid of for the series. Kolchak in the movies, he drank, he chased women, he was he had balls, and he was just like this pest in the show.
Yeah.
The only thing that carried over was that he was the only one that knew the truth. But everything that made him cool in the movies just disappeared for the show, and that always kind of bugged me. And not that it mattered because they put it on next to Policewoman, and the first episode when Angie Dickinson's coming down the stairs in that dress and you can see her legs, you knew Kolchak was done, and he was.
It was also on Friday nights. And
Friday nights at 10.
Yeah,
but back then that wasn't the death sentence that it became because people stayed in to watch shows they wanted because they didn't have a choice. But Policewoman just crushed it in the ratings.
Yeah, but a certain demographic's going to be out on dates, and that because Friday was a death sentence for Star Trek, original Star Trek. So yeah, I think. And it also killed Planet of the Apes, but that show wasn't anywhere close to the movies either.
Yeah. I mean, you go back and watch them now. They have a really cool charm to them. And,
Oh, great.
I said but they said they didn't hold up compared to the movies to me anyway.
Look.
What is that?
It's a companion. It talks about every show, who directed it, little snippets.
That existed.
Yeah. Characters. It talks about every show from the movie on, but notes about the show. How good they are compared to the rest of the show, rest of the TV shows. Yeah. It's awesome. A Night Stalker Companion, a 25th anniversary tribute.
Yeah, when I was in 5th grade, the year after the show was canceled, we were living in Tacoma, Washington, and my parents took me on you go to this bar in downtown Seattle, and they take you down into their basement, and then it connects to the original underground of Seattle, but it looks nothing like the TV show. It's just,
okay.
But basically there was a fire or something, and then they just built up on top of the ruins of the original.
Yeah, I thought that was
Seattle. It's not as spectacular.
Oh, really? That's too bad.
But it's cool. I mean, you see like the doors from the 1800s, and there's a toilet, but it's not like old streets, It's.
Have you seen the paperback, the Kolchak papers that the TV show is based off of? The novels.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called the Kolchak papers by Rice, the guy who did the Kolchak TV show, but it's the Kolchak papers were the original with the vampire storyline, but it was the first novel.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I have it around somewhere. I just can't locate it right now.
You just reminded me that Valentine's Day. I didn't even think about that. That means I need to go shopping. When is Valentine's Day? What day of the week?
Oh, I don't know.
It's not on Wednesday night. It's
next Sunday.
Okay.
I was trying to show a picture of Metarog's upcoming video on Sunday.
Monday. Oh no, this is Thursday, so Monday, because I forgot I'm so used to it being Wednesday. I added 4 to the.
Did you hear my wife shouting
Yeah.
Monday?
I'm old. I still thought it was Wednesday.
Eric says he's old. Yeah, I was going to show you Metarog's latest coming up Sunday. Jambo will be on there,
Oh,
but for some reason this thing won't let me.
I thought that was you planning out the next graphic for next
No,
week's episode.
I was. I've been trying to give him a plug because of Metarog's latest video. Anyway, you bring it up on YouTube, you'll see it. It's coming up Sunday, and Jambo and Bub and Comic Mag Musing and a few other guys will be on there. And they play a game that Roger just gives them a few details.
And it's going to be pretty bloody from what I hear. Pretty much hard. This came out a few years ago. Short stories.
Okay.
Yeah. Put out by Moonstone. You might be able to still get it, but it's a bunch of short stories by those authors.
Are they authors that wrote for the original series? Or?
No. Mike Barron, people like that. Tom DeFalco, Joe Gentile, John Ostrander, some other people I haven't heard of before. But it's really good. It captures the feel of the character very well.
Oh, okay. So it's not just fan fiction.
No. These are writers.
Yeah, Last Avenger just said his favorite one was the 4th episode. That was mine too, because that was the closest that the show ever got to the movie, because it was basically an unofficial sequel, because it was one of Skorzeny's victims. It was the vampire, played by one of the dancers from Charity, by the way. There's your useless trivia for the day. But yeah,
I remember an episode when I was a kid.
Yeah, I looked up that book.
Okay.
I was just gonna say real quick. I looked up that book you showed, and it was $150 on Amazon. Damn it!
Oh wow!
The Kolchak Companion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Steve paid $149. So.
Yeah. Yeah, the one I remember that I loved the most was he's after the zombie, and he goes to the junkyard, has to crawl into with the zombie in the junkyard to pour salt into its mouth and to tie up the mouth of the zombie, and Kolchak's laying right next to it, and he wakes up, and he's in a crushed car, and it's such a great scene.
I remember the scene where a woman is locked in a shower and is scalded to death. I don't know
the
what
Trevi collection about the witch.
Yes,
okay.
Trevi collection. Yep.
That just really struck me as I can't believe I just saw this on the television in front of me.
Yeah.
But now you can see anything on.
Yeah,
on
Steve. I
television.
don't know about you, but that moment when the Antoine or whatever his name was opens his eyes, I guess they would call that now a jump scare.
Yeah.
But that was the legitimate, only truly frightening moment of that show. I mean, that scared 12-year-old me, out of my shorts.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
There were definitely some moments in the show, but that one was just straight up scary.
See, what carried that show was Carl. Carl's personality, the way he dressed, the way he looked, trying to get the story. Always a good guy, and that's what carried the motorcycle rider that was decapitated. That
Chopper.
Was a cheesy one. Yeah, Chopper, and you could tell it was a dude, with the heightened up, thing on prosthetic.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell, but it's cool concept of having Carl involved with it,
Oh, I said,
Carl.
but I just wish they brought some of the movie elements.
Yes.
Why couldn't he? Why was he like when they're on the ship, the werewolf episode?
Yes.
And Dick Gautier is trying to set him up with Nita Talbot, and it's like he's scared of girls, like they have cooties or something.
Yeah.
I mean, we know he was banging Carol Lindley back when she was bangable, And you kind of got the feeling that he probably got busy with Joanne Flug in the sequel.
Yeah.
So where was that Kolchak in the series?
I just think it geared it towards kids my age. That's what I think they did. And because I got it. He was about the job. He was about the story. And at 60 minutes, they don't want to ruin it for a kid. And that's what I think. But I could be wrong.
You might be right.
I think that's the case. Yeah.
But the one thing I liked about the movies and the shows was, especially you go back and watch them now, at any given episode, you can see Jim Backus. He was in the Chopper episode, and Phil Silvers was in the one about the Rakshasa, whatever that was. But no, I will tell you, take it back. It was one of the creepier ones was Paramount Faye's gonna get you.
Yeah, Paramount Faye. Paramount Faye.
But if you look real close, you can see the guy's arm through it.
Oh yeah, and you can tell us what's his name by the eyes. The actor, the big actor that played the
Richard Kiel.
Yeah, I think it was Richard Kiel that played Paramount.
I think they used him as the big Indian too, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah. Mr. Ring was pretty good too.
But the episode you referenced, Ken, about the girl getting scalded in the shower, Lara Parker was the witch, and she was a regular on Dark Shadows.
Yeah,
so that's where she'd come from, and I thought that was I thought that was a legitimate good episode. But things that don't move in real life that move, like whenever they use the ventriloquist dummies come to life, like the Twilight Zone episode with Talkie Tina, like when the doll comes to life. That stuff always creeps me out. And when the mannequins kept moving when Carl wasn't looking, and then they started coming at him, that was.
It's such a great show, though. There's just something about it, man. I just love it.
Like I said, I love it so much more now than I did when I was in 1974. Of course, I also had to wait. I do remember when the show first came out, we were a one TV family. And I guess it was my brother or sister's turn to get the TV that Friday. So I didn't get to see the Ripper episode.
Okay.
For probably 20 years after it aired.
Oh, wow.
But I got to watch every one of them because I must have done some world-class tantrums. but I saw the other 19.
Yeah, I remember we were one TV family, and I think the show came on opposite Planet of the Apes. And I remember it wasn't?
Because I watched both. Were they both CBS?
ABC.
Okay, I watched every episode of Planet of the Apes and every episode of Night Stalker.
Must be another show that was on an opposite channel that my dad wanted to watch, and I wanted to watch Kolchak. So we would have to do something to figure out. I'd be throwing some tickets there.
Yeah, probably wanted to watch Angie Dickinson.
Yeah, it could have been. I can't remember what it was. It was another. I thought it might have been Planet of the Apes. I'm mistaken, but it was something that we had to come to terms with, so I wouldn't miss Night Stalker.
Gratu, were you in Germany when you watched that? Because maybe his channels were different.
That was San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Germany, everything was not on the same time, or
right.
It was, everything was nuts.
And Kino was the only guy that played the same guy in 2 episodes that wasn't a regular. He was the only cop they brought back for a second episode. Because it seemed like there were an awful lot of cops in that precinct. Yeah,
they get thrown around
to all get mad at Kolchak.
Yeah.
What was the name of the guy, the mortician, the morgue guy that was also Jack the Ripper?
Gordy the Ghoul.
Gordy the Ghoul.
No, I mean, what's that actor's name? Is what I meant.
John Fielder.
Okay. Wow. He was always a weird guy in whatever I saw him in.
That's right. He was Jack the Ripper in Star Trek. I do remember that too.
Yeah, because they dragged him out, and he's going, "Die, die, everybody, die." Yeah. That's how I felt when I was leaving last day of high school.
They used him in 2 episodes. I guess that was maybe all he wanted to do because I mean he had occasion to go to the morgue several times, but
I thought he was in almost every episode. I thought he was a regular.
Nope.
Do you guys know the answer to this?
What?
Oh, I don't know what number. I know they did it.
Oh, the question at the bottom. Was it Marvel's? Yes, it was. He was on the cover. I think the last issue. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you said, you know the answer to this, and you kind of moved your hand. I thought it was some Masonic riddle.
They did a
It's like, what does that mean? I wasn't reading the words at the bottom of the screen.
Didn't Ark do a Blackula parody also?
The Blackula parody was in Spoof.
That Spoof, that's right.
Oh, that one shot, right? Yeah.
No, Spoof was around
What is the one shot
4 or
then?
5 issues. Well, it came out, one issue came out, and then I think it disappeared for a couple of years, then came back.
Okay.
But when it came back, it was weird. The first issue had Dark Shadows and a parody of Marooned, and then when it came, it's like there was something odd where there was something old that was put into it that was I think a parody of Night Gallery maybe, and it was already off the air. I don't remember. They had one issue where Rod Serling was on the cover, a parody of Night Gallery. That had a lot of Marie Severin art in it. Yeah. But yeah, as far as I know, that's the only comic appearance of Kolchak. I'm sure they've done tons of Kolchak comics recently.
Moonstone has done a lot of comic books with Kolchak.
But I mean, contemporary with the show.
Oh, yeah, nothing back then, no. Yeah, it's all recent.
I don't remember if there were not. Did you say there was a novelization before the first?
Yeah, called the Kolchak Papers.
And was it written by Richard Matheson?
No,
right. About one that came out years later.
No, it came out before the movies and TV show.
Okay.
It was, I think, it was used as a screenplay for the first TV movie.
Which was a Richard Matheson script, right?
Yes. But Jeff Rice wrote the book.
Oh, okay. He adapted someone else's work. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
You know, the Night Stalker movie features 2 Mike Hammers. More useless trivia for you.
The people that played Mike Hammer?
Yeah. Ralph Meeker from Kiss Me Deadly and Darren McGavin from the series.
Oh, Darren McGavin played Mike Hammer on a TV series?
Mm-hmm. Late 50s.
I didn't know that.
Mickey Spillane played Mike Hammer in a movie once.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah. And Mickey Spillane wrote for Marvel Comics too.
Yeah.
I have to go to work tomorrow, and I'm not looking forward to it.
Ooh.
Well, so? How do what about the snow and ice? You think is it melting?
No. But I think
will they excuse you?
No, the big roads are going to be so cleared that there won't be much of an excuse, you know.
Oh,
once I can get out of the neighborhood, you know. But
and you're more used to snow, I assume, there than people are here.
Oh, I grew up with snow, but in the last so many years, not to be an environmentalist or people that think change is happening, but in the last 20 years around here, we just get ice like crazy. But so this getting snow this deep, you know, like 8 or 9 inches, that's pretty rare. So,
but if you pay extra taxes, I'm sure they can fix that.
That's right.
We're breathing too much, and
I decreased my footprint.
They say if we just eat bugs, like Billy Boy says, Billy Boy G, he says that then they won't have so many farting cows creating methane.
I remember one time they came up with this website that you enter in all this information and they will tell you how big your carbon footprint is. And so I went crazy on that thing. I made it look like I'm taking international flights every day and I'm always using the air conditioner, and because at the end it would draw a little picture of a footprint in the sand, and my footprint was so huge.
Probably exactly the same as Al Gore's. Yeah.
And then I would share that with all the environmentalists. So just making them mad because they thought it was real. Like, oh, we got to get rid of this guy. You know.
Yeah, I put on Facebook once, I'm working today to create the biggest carbon footprint I possibly can, and it offended someone. They didn't.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, and it's like,
Right.
oh, you've got to be kidding, Gratu. So I use the same name on that stupid Facebook shit. Yeah.
Well, we should run out of here before Eric gets. Oh man, it's too late.
So I said,
I had a
there's
feeling.
the movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
I know he's a bastard.
Now, is it that movie where? Is it that movie where they open up the trunk and you never really know what it is? You have to assume it's uranium or something that kills people.
Yeah, they kind of spoofed that in Repo Man.
Didn't I thought that was Repo Man. I was thinking.
That's where they spoofed it from was Kiss Me Deadly.
Oh, I know, but I was trying to remember what movie it was that spoofed that, but it was not Pulp Fiction. It was Repo Man.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
78 episodes.
I never knew he played Mike Hammer. It's so cool.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah,
Big fan of Darren McGavin.
There's an episode where Angie Dickinson plays a femme fatale that he arrests, and she goes, 16 years later, I'm going to get you back.
Are there episodes that you can just watch free on YouTube? Probably.
I don't know. Let me see.
That's cool.
I'm just noticing your Titanic shirt. That's pretty cool.
Let me see if I can.
Yeah, if Froggy were in the audience, he'd say that Eric wore that on the Titanic.
Well,
he's pushing the women out of the way to get them.
If Black Cat were here when you guys were talking about Peacemaker, he would have said that Breen thought you said pacemaker.
Which one do you think is the one that likes Peacemaker, Puppeteen or the Frog?
Oh, the Frog, but he likes more serious Peacemaker, not
the
comedy.
Frog dislikes it.
The Frog isn't too big a fan on the comedy or how they're making it silly.
Well, some of the jokes fall flat, but some of it is really it's pretty good. I mean, because the characters are if you keep watching it, the characters are very well rounded. And characters you think are one-note characters, you realize these are very fully realized, interesting. James Gunn is not a slouch. And he loves comics. Things he's doing are actually kind of improvements. Believe it or not.
I'm never probably going to watch it.
I know it's not meant for you.
Right. I want John Cena to put on a mask, go back to wrestling as a bad guy, and then have a big reveal. I wish they'd let him finally play the bad guy. He's always been a good guy, a baby face. But
I remember
Russell
when he fought Rob Van Dam for the title belt. When they were they hated him. I mean, they were spitting on him
because they went to the what was that? ECW, yeah,
ECW camp.
Yeah.
When Rob Van Dam came out, I mean, they were going to tear that place up if Rob Van Dam did not win.
Right.
That place was going to be torn apart. So I was wondering if Rob was supposed to win. Anyway, I love Rob Van Dam. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. But when he defeated Cena, I knew it was going to happen because Cena would not have gotten out of there alive. You know.
When did Cena last wrestle?
About a year ago. I think he jobbed to somebody.
Oh, so he's very recently retired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he's only wrestled about 5 times in the last 5 years, but
yeah.
Oh, when did he stop being like a major?
Probably about 2014, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Ken, then it looks like the entire second season is on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Did
Free with
Peacemaker
commercials?
Yeah, it looks like because they're all running between like 25 minutes and 45 seconds to 26 minutes. So then they were half-hour shows. So yeah.
So they'll probably throw in a little YouTube ad every now and then, but I expect that. So that's cool.
So did Peacemaker ever have a pet eagle in the comic?
Not that I know of. I don't have them all, so I
That,
can't say.
that's
Charlton did not flesh his character out. It was
not
just,
Charlton. I'm thinking maybe
Oh.
DC. This he has a sidekick eagle that is brilliant. I mean, it's. I think people are gonna like this eventually as much as the as Groot, and it's. I think people really like this show. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you
it's
guys
popular.
give it a shot. And Stargirl, I keep saying you guys need to watch that.
No, yeah, I got the first season on DVD and I enjoyed it.
Oh, I need to get it on disc as well. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Second season is a little darker with Eclipso, but ultimately it's just a
And I
little
love
dark.
Calypso.
But from what I heard, it didn't turn into a CW show, which is a plus.
No, it hasn't. I think maybe the budget was cut a little bit because the robot doesn't come into action until the very end of the second season. They have a lot of episodes where it was just out of commission, so they didn't want to pay for the CGI for that. Basil's saying it's 58 degrees in California. Cats knocked this down. It's a Funko Pop.
Hmm.
Where it was. Oh, that's what it was.
All right, it took some doing, but I'm determined to show you. I'm to show the people watching this on replay. Sunday night, go over to watch Metarogs, and there's our lovely Jambo on the left. So,
Boy, that's a scary crew.
yeah, you see Bub there on his right. Why would you turn your back on Bub there? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know, right?
But anyway, I've been wanting to get that in there. I didn't turn it into a overlay, and
That's cool.
Neat.
so. But everybody should check that out. Also, be sure to check out the Geeky Puppet Show
Yeah,
this Friday.
it looks so sad there.
And Eric, Brain, and I were participants in that. And
Yeah,
this
we've got another one
pretty good
tomorrow.
Yeah, another Friday.
Yeah.
This will be a 3-part story there, and it's the big conclusion just before the black costume. Gratu's favorite. So
What's my favorite?
the black costume, Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
Venom.
I was just being silly.
I was just
Movie
looking at a Fantastic Four comic, and the last page is the costume coming out of a air conditioning panel. I guess it's right after Secret Wars, and it shows it like for no particular reason. They're in the Fantastic Four comic.
I'd heard that the Superman Lois show is going to get more, left wingy. So that's unfortunate. That's people. More people need to realize that there are two sides of that.
Everything.
The pendulum's going to swing back. I think. I think what happened is they had not counted on Trump winning. They thought Hillary Clinton was going to win. They had things planned to do during her presidency that they were prevented from doing. And now that they figured out a way to get back in, they are rushing everything so much to try to make up for lost time that even a moron can tell what they're doing. And well, some morons can't, but it's so shocking what they're doing to everyone that people are waking up. That's why all these trucks are going, doing all this stuff, and people are. And then I think people are gonna, people are gonna just be are getting repelled. I think by this. They don't want us to know it, but it's like CNN's ratings are plummeting, and people are watching people like Tim Pool and Joe Rogan, and they seem common sense compared to what the media, the main big people, are telling us. And I don't know.
I was checking Twitter a little while ago, and this guy who I follow, a lot of times he shows just comics from his collection, and he has everything from FF1. I mean, he's got everything.
Yeah.
But he's used this twice in the last month. He goes, if comic books were real, would the Republicans be Hydra? It's like, what the fuck is the point of that? It's are you trying to start a argument? And it's like these guys are so sure that they're on the right side of everything.
Yeah.
Well, they I think deep down they realize they aren't, and that Antifa is actually fascist in any way you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're starting to realize they're on the wrong side, but they've got to like bend everything to make themselves. And today I was disappointed. I found out during my show, if you watch it, you'll see me finding out that because that nerdrotic Gary guy has a show. He had a meme up on his latest YouTube video that shows Elvira, and it's apparently Elvira's come out against Joe Rogan now. So
she says if you don't agree with her, she doesn't want you as a fan. You are trash. Oh, she didn't just come out against him.
Oh, I haven't heard it yet.
She's gone full Karen. I mean, she's in Howard Stern country already.
And Howard Stern, I loved Howard Stern. I can't even tell you how into Howard Stern I was in the 90s. The same time that I was obsessing on the Addams Family, I listened to that every day. And he's like a really brilliant. You hear about him and you figure, oh, he's just this horrible guy. But if you really listen to him, there's that element, but he's really smart. I think he must be getting paid off or something. I don't know what happened.
Let me show you a little harmless clip of a guy everybody should be following, his education. I think you'll think this is funny from a junior high level.
When my husband was a junior in high school, he convinced everyone in his class to put on his shirt for picture day. That is fantastic. That is fantastic.
So I don't know if you guys can hear that, but
I watch that guy a lot.
I wish I was in his class. I would gladly wear that shirt. Be one of the participants in that. I think there's probably a lot of disappointed mothers getting that yearbook later and going, "What in the world?"
Can this StreamYard be just as easily put up on Rumble or any of these other startup channels?
My old videos that were smaller before we started streaming, I've got them on Rumble.
Do you?
But ever since Ken, you and I started streaming, they're like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I haven't even tried. And then I got so busy just with YouTube that. So you can find my old stuff on Rumble. But
I didn't know that. I've listened to long things on Rumble. There's a lady named Mel K. Mel K. She's great, and I like this guy X22 Report. I don't know if that's a play on X23, the girl Wolverine. I don't know what it means, but he does this news show that's, I think, great. But I wonder, when Trump starts his new channel in a few weeks, Truth Social, whatever, what if we were the first comic book people to just go on there? I'd probably have to clean up my language a little, which I can do. I mean, I was a school teacher for decades. I can. But what if, because there's not supposed to be something there, and they think that's going to be one step closer to, people starting to realize how much they've been lied to. But I was wondering about that, trying to dip my foot into some of these other, because eventually YouTube is going to get all of this. And this is a commie place anyway. I don't know.
Well, I probably don't have enough ethnic faces on screen if I just got old white guys. So I don't know. Maybe they'll hate that. But I think after they watch about 5 minutes of this, they'd get bored and leave because we're just a bunch of guys. Hey, look at this kid Colt. They don't care.
Well,
So
I don't really. That's kind of all I do on my channel, but I want to not just do that. I want to talk more about music and movies, and I want to be more of a pop culture channel. But I think you people on YouTube expect you to be one thing, and I'm kind of like.
well, then I recommend you have two sign-ons. One Gratu Pop or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Maybe do that. But
I kind of look at my show as more of a diary, If someone's there to look at comics, I go out and look around in the snow. I'm doing. I don't think I even showed a comic in the video I put up earlier today until about 30 minutes into it.
I started watching yours this morning, but then Shannon came in early to do a mic test.
Yeah, I didn't know you were going live today until after I posted. I didn't mean to step on your toes.
I texted you, and I don't know.
My phone was Well, you text me, and I'm doing the show. I guess I didn't know it.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. I didn't see. Then my phone died.
Well, this was Eric's idea last night when we.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
We signed off. So we're snowed in. We might as well do it. So.
Yeah. Eric, you're snowed in? You're about to get snowed.
Oh yeah, we had all kinds of shit right now, and you couldn't tell by looking because it's all ice and sleet. But yeah, it's the nastiest looking inch and a half of shit. Yeah,
stuff. Yeah. Well, because when you can't see it, that's the most deadly ice. People just think, it's a wet road. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny.
And no matter how slow I go, there's always somebody going around me.
Yeah, they call it black ice, I think.
Sorry, Eric. Go ahead.
So I figured the best way to get a hold of you would be to, we both figured it wouldn't make any sense to DM you. So I went to your latest video and put a comment in there. And then as I'm doing that, your new video comes up. And so I left the comment again, and I saw where you noticed the one from 5 days ago.
Yeah. From 5 days ago?
Or whenever you did the one where you're touring the new house.
Oh, that one. Yeah, you put it on both. Yeah, actually, right before I saw your message, the initial screen, the waiting screen for the show for today. So I figured it out. And then underneath, someone said, "Is this just a doppelganger from last night?" And then
that was Bronco.
Mike explained it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I figured it out today.
I think we had a bigger audience today.
Sometimes on Wednesdays I come home and it's like I'm tired and I've got a headache, and I try to always come on, but I usually only make it the very end. I always miss Dr. Silver Age, and I miss
Paulo.
Paulo, yeah.
Well, we were just worried that we were kind of wondering if you got your pizza.
The thing is that you can kind of tell this place called Mama's Pizza. It's a great pizza place. They send a text message every 2 weeks on a Tuesday offering you a $12 giant large pizza if you show the text message, and it's good for Tuesday and Wednesday. So it didn't happen this week. So next week I'll be getting probably a pizza. Although my wife's realizing she's got some allergy to cheese, which is like her favorite food.
Oh.
So she's like eats a pizza and then she's real sick afterwards. And she likes Mexican food too. So it's kind of a dilemma. But yeah, next week I'll be getting a pizza. Yeah. So and we're gonna try to go
I guess
back.
I'm gonna bug on now.
We're gonna close.
I'll see you guys. Thanks.
Take care.
All right, guys. Take care.
Right.
Graphic Man, Ratu, y'all take care.
Bye. See you.
Yeah, we've done 3 hours and about 4 minutes. Getting pretty good to shut down ourselves, but hopefully everybody could come and see us this next Wednesday, the regular time. Gentlemen, you got anything else parting to say? Or Recommendations, advice to the lovelorn?
No. No. I think I've covered everything I plan to.
So you're going to get a new can of beer when it comes out, or is anybody actually going to make that stuff?
I think I did hear something where they are going to do one for this year. I doubt if I will. But
you
It's
for the
Cincinnati
football. Okay.
yeah.
I was thinking, why are you asking that to him of all people?
Now, how old? Because you haven't opened up. Here's my Coke can, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Be less white. So, how long can you keep beer in there without it? I guess I don't know anything about beer. So, will it explode one day or leak out eventually in 30 years?
One did. Because I just kept it intact and just kind of had it on display, and one of them just did pop. But the other 5, I think, are still full.
Okay.
Are cans different from bottles as far as that goes?
I have no idea.
Because I've got a whole thing of Elvira beer from the 90s that's never been opened. And then I was at an estate sale, and they had a box of Budweiser and a box of Pabst Blue Ribbon from probably about 1966. I think I've dated the labels, all just unconsumed beer that just sat in the garage. And I bought them real cheap. So I've got Budweiser beer bottles around that are from the 60s just as decoration. But
Nice.
I don't think there's
My
this
camera.
guy on YouTube that will
The
the thing is
old
to
guy.
drink it to see what
Yeah.
it's like. There's a guy on YouTube that gets old MREs, meals ready to eat from like
Yeah.
the Vietnam era, and then he eats them on YouTube. Tries old cans from 1954 that he got at an antique store, opens them up and eats the stuff inside. There's all kinds of people.
My camera's sitting on top of a Superman pretzel tin that came out in '87. Pretzels are still in there. Don't want to know what they look like, but
You'll show that tin next Wednesday.
I would if I could find something the same height to keep the camera on. But
Okay, yeah. And we don't want to run your setup. So, and speaking of that, hopefully y'all will tune in next Wednesday night and check us all out. For Gratu and Eric, I'm Graphic Man. Have a great night. And see, I'm trying to sound professional. And we'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye.
good night, kids.